This is Q Talk America.
The following broadcast contains adult humor, language, and topics, along with partial nudity. Actual knowledge is used sparingly. The show is a result of a lost bet and a bad game of rock, paper, scissors. It's The Show with Clayton McKee. And now, a man with a face for radio, Clayton McKee.
Well, good evening, 7 o'clock in Central Arizona. That's where we are, Phoenix to be exact. Thank you for listening. This is The Show with Clayton McKee. And currently, as you can see, if you're watching just from the audio feed, it's the Clayton and Al show at this point.
Yeah, everyone's worst nightmare come true.
Which is really just going to be me listening to you going, Marnie and Aaron are on the way. They are...
Well, they're on Marnie and Ernie time.
Apparently. And I guess when they're together, it's worse. I was always hopeful that, with the two of them, they could champion each other and get themselves somewhere get them to the church on time.
Yeah, exactly.
No, apparently not.
No.
Not happening.
Wrong church.
Exactly. Katie June is out this week. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, she has an HRC function that she's going to tonight with her wife, and she had to do that. It was on a Tuesday, so that's quite all right. She's out for this week. So when the other two get here, and it's just lovely when you see the shot of us now, because there's just a big open shot of just you and I. And
wide open space.
That's it. Oh, you have a wine as normal this evening. What are you drinking?
It's Chardonnay from Mecon Village. I have no idea. I'm terrible at French, so we'll just pretend that's how you pronounce it.
Well, did you find it at some fancy place?
No. It's my usual $12.99 bullshit.
Oh, okay.
Available in the imported section of Safeway, but it is
the bullshit section.
It is
Safeway.
actually one of my favorites, and this might actually be from Total Wine. Like sometimes I go to Total Wine just to see if they have it for cheaper.
Yeah.
Because I really do like it.
Mm-hmm.
It's very tasty and reasonably priced at $12.99.
There was something else that we found that was like a $4 or $5 bottle you were drinking the other couple weeks ago you liked.
Yeah, and then I went back to this and I realized
Okay.
it's $8.
Got it.
But no, that barefoot shit was I think it was barefoot. But that was a special because I think it's normally like $8.99. That was like
okay, gotcha.
That was like a one-time only.
A special deal. Got it. Well, of course, I have my Crown and Diet, and then I'm backing it up with. I went to Lux earlier today, and I got a mocha latte. But I decided what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna drink a little of this down. I'm gonna put some of that coffee tequila in this that we still have left from.
Oh, nice.
I thought that might be a nice little addition to it. But anyway, we are here. I don't even know. Let's see. Let's take a little gander because we can and see who's listening abroad, and hopefully we have. Oh well. In there listening. Hi, everybody from New Zealand, whoever you are. Of course, the people from
Tomo.
Oh, I'm sorry. It is Tomo.
Yeah.
My bad.
Hopefully, and friends and company.
And there is one that says unknown, and so the app just doesn't know what country it's from, and they literally been listening 2 minutes. So I don't know where. If you're listening and want to say hi in the chat room, please do so. Let us know where you are listening from, and if at all possible, why. Oh,
that's always good to ask people.
Why would you waste this much time? You've got so much.
What's missing?
I don't know.
I know. We'll do the Dr. Laura. Tell us what's wrong.
What's wrong with you? How can I help? What was it on Frasier? He always just say, "Hello, Seattle. How can I help?"
I'm listening.
I'm listening.
That was the signature.
You know what I'm
thing.
trying to do? And for those of you watching, this is the first week I'm wearing the new glasses with this.
Oh, they look very nice, by the way.
Thank
I
you.
can't
They
mean
do.
to say it.
But they are worthless to me in this situation because you're all far too close to me because it blurs you. Because you're too close. This is for further distance.
Oh, I
And
gotcha.
for reading and for everything that's here. I do my scripts in such large print. It doesn't really matter.
Oh, you're going to be the lady looking down her nose at you.
Yeah, and I don't like that. I don't need that.
I work with a guy, and he has the same problem. They must be for reading because when he talks to you, he's always looking down his nose, and he's much taller than me. He's 6 something or other, and but there's a guy that works with us that's the same height. And he's always mad at him. And I'm like, why are you mad at him? What did he do? And he goes, he's always looking down his fucking nose at me. And it's just because he tilts his head and looks down the glasses. And it does
appear.
I guess if you're that tall and equal height, it does look kind of condescending and rude. But to me, I'm like, I don't know. I'm just looking up your nose. So I don't know what the fuck's going on.
No, but the thing with these glasses, they literally are just for real close-up reading and far away. But to here, I don't need any of that. That's fine. What's up, Marnie? Hi.
Hi there.
Well, we're good. You look very confused now.
Hola.
It's the same studio. Things not much has changed.
No?
Yeah. No, it's
I don't
good.
know
What
what
was
she's
not?
doing.
Ernie went to the kitchen. We're not doing food again, are we? Ernie spilled on herself.
Oh no.
We weren't gonna do
Red
food,
wine
but
on my favorite shirt. Can I put it in your sink?
Yeah.
Oh, and you know what? It's powder blue.
Cold water or hot water?
I don't
water.
care.
cold water.
I always believe in cold water.
Good luck
We
with
were-
that.
Just
We were
because
not
it's
gonna do
Arizona,
food,
so it always turns hot.
You're not going to do food,
We were
but
not gonna do food, but I cooked and I was not gonna leave it sitting there. So
Gotcha.
we brought it, and y'all can have some.
Okay.
okay. Well, there's that.
Yeah.
You don't have to ask me twice to eat. I'm pretty good at that. I think I've
should
said
be
this.
okay.
I think I've said this before. I don't recognize. I think I've seen the hat before, and I think every time I see it, I act like I don't remember it
one?
because it's got the green.
Brand new.
Oh, it is brand new.
Yeah, because
Oh, but the other Twin Cities hat, right?
Oh, it's a Festivus hat. I see.
yeah.
the snowman
Got
with
it.
the little twins hat
With
on.
the green. I see.
But the well, now I get it. Yeah, 'cause I'm like, that's not the right colors. But the last time, your last Twin Cities hat, we had a whole discussion about because it was like, what the fuck is
What is
TC?
that? Right. Yeah. So this one I'm very excited about.
Conway Twitty.
Yeah. Yeah.
CT. Whatever.
Backwards.
Yeah.
Backwards. Sorry about, as always, but sorry about being late.
I was telling.
You're right on time, dear.
I was.
You're here right at the time I was expecting you.
Yeah, I was telling Al just moments ago because he and I were the only ones here.
I know. Sorry, I left you with no one to talk
No,
to.
well, it almost just became Al for 3 hours.
Well, that's weird.
No, but
Yeah.
what I was saying
Is that
was,
new?
I had a dream that envision that the two of you together would work together and you would get somewhere. No,
It could have happened.
I
There's
don't
always
know.
a Buddy Early like story to keep you
Oh yes,
interested.
right.
That's right.
She brings in a stained wine shirt to throw you off the scent.
It
Sure.
gets crazy.
Yeah.
It gets crazy.
I
I was gonna stain a shirt for
No,
a story.
no.
It wouldn't have been that one.
now I'm kind of curious, Aaron. Now you being out of well, no, not out of all this, but because Al has a job that he has to be there at a certain time for. How do you do that morning thing where you have to get up and you drive and you arrive
She's
somewhere?
crazy about that.
Oh,
Like
me
on
on
crazy
time?
being on time.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh yeah.
Just wondering.
No, I am
Wow.
There's paper towels behind you for
I'm
them.
always early for school. Significantly.
Yeah, perpetually
Good.
on time.
Okay.
Early.
Got it.
I was not a particularly prompt person until I went back to school.
Right.
And certainly not the first time I went to college. But adventure number 2 at college, I became crazy on time. I have no idea what kicked in or what new gene came up. And like, I've never.
What was it? Just adult responsibility kicked in?
No, and but like some people are just late.
Shit's never gonna happen.
You know what I mean? Like my one sister is just always late. Like there's just people that are just perpetually late, and you just make your life work to around those guidelines. And it's changed. Like I'm still late to anything that we're all gonna do together.
Oh, okay.
Or if you invite me to lunch, I'll get there when I want to. But if there's
See,
something
my thing is, like,
this
I'm not
or
ever-
work,
If somebody's-
I'm not ever looking at it like I'll get there when I want to. I'm doing 54 other things, and it's my bad because I don't organize it well enough, and I get that piece. But my whole deal, and it actually kicked in about 3 weeks ago,
Okay.
I don't think there's a goddamn thing that's going to burn down if I'm not there on time.
No.
So, like this, I get. This I get completely. But anything else, fine.
That's nice.
Who
Pacify
cares?
us like that.
No, but I'm being serious. This is something that, like, it has a start time. But, like, if it's a fucking movie, watch the movie. Who's going to miss out? Me. Who
Right.
cares?
But you do
Yeah.
you do a teaching thing a couple times a week. So that is a formal time. I mean, if you have a class that starts
And
at-
I'm going to get there at 5:26 when I teach at 5:30.
See,
Every time, because I have to drive across town
Aaron,
and I have too much
Yes.
other shit to do.
turn
Am I
it,
not on?
turn it.
Oh, no,
There
it's
you
on,
go.
it's on,
No,
but
no,
yeah.
turn it.
There,
No.
yeah.
this way.
There
this
you
way.
go. Yeah.
There it is.
Everything for a
See-
reason in Studio C.
Yes. See, Marnie is, and I love this about her, is she is such an optimist that she thinks everywhere in the valley takes 6 minutes to get to.
Well, that's because
And
all the
so-
commercials on TV say that any car lot just minutes from anywhere.
Right, right. So it's
fucked
her
me up.
optimism that just gets her every time.
And my thing is, I get distracted by something shiny.
Okay.
You know, like yesterday,
Christ, me
I
too.
knew for sure yesterday that I was meeting somebody for lunch at 1:45 or 2:45 or something, and that he usually is available earlier. Like he'll give the latest time that's appropriate for what we're doing, but he could actually be there at like 2:15 because he's coming right from work. I never take that into account, and I just sit there and I'll be like, oh my God, I need to know what you know what I mean? Like, and it's stuff that I don't give a shit about, that all of a sudden I'm sitting in front of the computer, or like, I do need to know what happens after the break.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it's some news story that I have never taken interest before.
Until then.
But the
Right.
minute it's time to like, get in the shower, or, you should really like wear something besides jeans and a t-shirt, and I'm like, oh no, what about the dollar in China? You know what I mean?
Because if I don't know,
Yeah.
I can
and
always
nothing
throw
changes.
in. I can always throw in an extra load of laundry. I can fold faster than anybody you've ever met, which I cannot.
I've
do.
heard
And
of folding.
impeccably,
Heard of it.
like I
she
pull
worked at
shit
Gap?
out. Yeah, I pull shit out, and it's like inside out and crumpled, and I'm like, whatever. And she'll come over and open a drawer and be like, oh, we're so different.
Years ago, I figured out that I could eliminate a lot of time or save a lot of time in life because if it's wrinkled, when the wrinkles just stretch out of it, and I'm perfectly fine.
Me too.
It works
Buy
out.
tighter clothes and
Yes.
have them work it out.
Less ironing.
That
tighter
surprises
clothes.
me. I'm
Work
not
out
gonna
the
iron
turbulence.
anything. That's why I take the time.
And
to-
that's not a t-shirt.
No.
That's a collared. I'm like, who are you?
Yeah, but it's a
No,
black.
it's
but,
black.
but on camera, it
And
looks
it
like a
has
black
a V.
V-neck.
Oh, I know.
Yes. No, I just chose to wear this one tonight
You've been replaced. You're a pod person.
to a different person.
A pod person.
That sounds like something from a movie.
From
It
Invasion
is.
of the
Yeah,
Body
yeah,
Snatchers.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's from Big Business, actually. Oh my God, it's pod people.
Oh, but it's from Invasion of the Body Snatchers.
Okay.
Well, I don't know if
reminds me
they
of
actually
that.
call them pod people, but that's what I called the
I
creatures.
think it sounds just fine to
I
call
think
them
it sounds
puzzle.
delightful.
in any one of the 17 versions of Invasion of the Body Snatchers. Pick your favorite.
Yes,
Let's pretend you saw that one.
I did not, but we'll pretend.
Exactly.
Right.
It's all about pretending.
Now, Erin, you're sitting in Katie's seat
I
this
am.
week, filling in. Thank you for doing
I
so.
am.
She is, I believe, if I'm not wrong, I think she had an HRC function to go to tonight,
Yeah.
and Kelly had to go with her.
Okay.
Yeah.
I believe that's what it was. So she's
Should
doing.
I put my hair
she's
on a
doing
top
good-
bun like she does?
No, you have to worry about
Katie
that.
can't put
but,
it up.
but before the show's over, you have to be gluten free and try a diet.
But you only have to stick to it for like 25 seconds.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
okay.
it.
Well, I've done the wine-free diet since I sat down. Can I change that right now?
I would change that immediately.
Ding ding. Hey, babe, you want to make that happen?
Now
Thank
it's a
you.
school
Do you
night.
need a
How are
wine
you? How are
glass,
you
or
doing
do you
on
want a
that? Oh, she's
coffee
going to use one
mug,
of our
or-
cunt mugs.
Yes, I'll use a cunt mug.
Yeah.
please.
Oh, we always like people use our cunt
Hooray.
mugs.
Yes, very nice.
Yes.
Yeah, I thought, when are you going to get classy?
Well,
Yeah.
no, I don't.
Don't
use
do
wine
that
glasses.
now.
Where did it spill
change
out of?
shit up.
Where did it spill out of? Out of curiosity.
I would. I mopped the studio today, and whatever happened last week, I think you laughed, and there was everything.
Manatee.
Oh, is it
Oh, that was,
manatee?
that was like 2
Go
weeks
ahead,
weeks
ago.
cut open
Yeah,
that.
she,
Yeah, well,
that she
I-
sprayed all over the corner.
No, twist.
Here.
It's a. Oh,
Oh,
well,
no, do not do that.
Well, it's too late.
Oh, I can't even watch.
Oh,
Wow,
that was painful.
Those are good dentures
Oh,
you
for
got.
crying in the rain. It's just my teeth.
Yeah,
Exactly.
very important.
You actually were able to roll out of camera shot for that, so nobody saw you.
Ooh, I can reenact it if
Please
anyone
don't.
wants.
I feel
No,
like
no.
we're on Duck Dynasty. You're taking corks
Yeah,
out of
with
bottles
that.
with teeth.
Oh, well, they got to be at the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade, so I'm a
Yes.
little bit jealous
And
of
they
those
were on the
assholes.
Today Show as well.
I don't care about the Today Show as much as like being on at the like they were in the
They
parade.
had their own float.
Corporate
That is my
product
that is
placement.
my only
that?
bucket list. My only bucket list is being at the parade on Thanksgiving
Have you,
one time
Al?
in my life.
Have you?
Yes.
You have?
It's awful.
Oh,
But in my head
Just
it's
'cause
so
of the
perfect.
number of
And
people?
it's a bucket list thing. See it, do it, and then you're like, all right, it was much
Well,
better.
Right.
Because first off, like this year, freezing cold,
I know.
and nothing happens right in front. Like, you know what I mean? It's all for
Well, no,
cameras.
I want to
and-
sit right where the Broadway
I know.
stops.
Now, if they let me sit in front of Macy's
And tell everybody
at
how the
entrance,
parade
Oh, yeah.
should go.
like right
Oh,
by
yeah.
Herald Square.
Al, if we ran the world, the parade would be more efficient,
Right.
Yeah.
prettier, sparklier.
Yeah, and no lip sync. He'd figure out how to make the lip syncing be better.
Oh,
all that
right?
shit. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, I also don't expect anybody to get up at 6 a.m. and sing in 20-degree weather. Like,
no.
I have very
God.
realistic expectations.
To-
It's enough that they get those because they have to relearn the choreography for a street,
smaller area.
You know what I mean? Like those shows don't take place on a city street.
Speaking of things like that, for
City
for bucket
sidewalk.
lists, I did,
That's
and
my
I
favorite Christmas
wanted
song.
to
Love
many
that
years
song.
ago. I wanted to experience New Year's Eve on the Strip in Vegas,
Oh.
and I did it, and I'm done with it. And I'll
How
never,
did that
I
go?
will never
I don't
go
remember
again.
you talking about that.
Oh, it's many years ago.
Yeah.
It was probably. Actually, probably before I really knew you.
Okay.
It was Gio and I went up and we stayed at Caesar's Palace, and they close off the entire strip, and you're out there with every other fucking moron that decides let's go to Vegas
So
for New
and that's
Year's.
before security got like
Yeah.
Sure.
double super nuts because
True.
now like if you go into like Times Square for New Year's, you can't get out and go pee. When you go
Right.
when
You're
you
in,
pee,
you're in.
you're out.
Yep.
Oh,
Oh wow!
Like, show's over. When you have to pee, you're out.
you're ringing the new year in Depends.
Oh yeah,
Right?
you just piss.
Oh.
Or
Oh.
you're just ringing the new year in.
And yeah, it's too much. We did.
I don't want to ever do that again.
Yeah. Oh,
I
God.
would now. I would do it. I would go to Vegas and do it like from a whatever, a balcony from a suite and
Right.
watch it all because it literally they block it off for about an hour. Well, at least they did. It's about an hour. They block the street, they do the thing, and then the street clears out and they go.
Oh, okay.
If, I just don't want to be in that thick of that crowd again.
Yeah,
That's just no.
And I can't be in crowds. Like now I panic over everything crowd related.
When too many
Like,
people get in this studio, you get a little nervous.
when too many people get anywhere, I get
Anywhere.
nervous. Like I have to have the exits doors
and
open.
I love people, and I don't mind any of that stuff. But I'm similar to that. Like, okay, now this is enough. Now we're done.
Yeah.
That's why I have
Now
Mondays
we're
and
done.
Tuesdays off because I like empty restaurants.
Uh,
You know what I mean? Like I go to restaurants always when they're empty. Everyone's like, "Oh, I've never seen this busy." I've never seen any restaurant busy. I
you
go to
always
dinner
go
on
off
Monday
days.
nights. Yeah, I go on Monday nights where me and the waiter are dining together.
Right.
Sure.
Would you
we-
like to
If I
sit down
sit
with
down-
me?
we learned how Saturday nights go at
Yeah,
restaurants
we
sometimes.
do.
Not
do.
good.
Oh, and I said that's what Katie and I were saying too. I'm like, this is why I don't take Saturdays off because
Right.
restaurants are just fucking
Right.
landmines.
Yeah.
Stupid.
Very much so.
Oh, absolutely.
So again, you are sitting in Katie's spot. We always go around the table. What you been up to? So, Aaron Henderson.
Well, I got called Aaron. So Friday.
When you get to him, it's Ernie.
Right.
When you
It
get
was
to me, what?
Thanksgiving. It was Marnie's birthday. It was fantastic.
Oh,
Yeah.
happy birthday!
Yes.
Happy birthday!
Yes, we got to spend all weekend together, which is always nice. And
And then the 19 turkey things, we never had a fucking cake for you.
Doesn't matter.
I know, but that's
Shove candles and a turkey. and
I brought cupcakes at the Saturday night dinner, and then I tried,
No.
but I'm an asshole because I didn't get her an actual cake on her actual birthday. So
No,
I
you're not.
did a quick little run and got her.
that's really sad that I saw you like
Cupcake.
every fucking day this week and never once
Never once.
thought to bring
Meh.
a cake. But we're,
It's
we're
so
all
funny.
trying to lose weight, so
We are,
there's our
so
excuse.
we're
By
just
the way,
cutting the
I'm
sugar.
there.
Oh, that's what I'm doing. No sugar diet for right now for Katie's place.
You're drinking wine.
You're drinking wine.
Okay, good.
You
All
mean
right.
actual spoonfuls of sugar?
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
got
I will
it.
not put spoonfuls of sugar in my mouth. Helps the medicine or whatever.
Gotcha.
So Friday
funny.
we were at Marnie's. Marnie does a Thanksgiving after Thanksgiving, as you know.
Yes, she does.
And Laura, who is a faithful listener to the show, came in with her husband
Machu
Steve, who I've
Picchu.
met,
Oh,
who
they
I've
were
met
there.
often.
Yeah.
And Laura said, "You know Ernie." She couldn't think of my real fucking name. Love you, Laura.
All of a sudden, she comes up to me. I'm Ernie now.
Yeah.
Officially.
Yeah, I know.
Officially now.
Officially.
Hey, but it works
That's
for the witness
funny.
protection program part of the show. Works out
Right.
well.
It does, except
Yeah.
when you go, Aaron Henderson, next seat. Then I'm screwed.
But luckily, we only say that like once every 4 hours.
Yeah,
and it
that's
has to be
true.
you that says it, 'cause we're like, Ernie.
Something, that one over there.
And old Marissa over there,
Yeah.
whatever her name is.
Marsha.
The other day,
Marisha.
she was Margaret.
Reiner.
Apparently.
Margaret Reiner.
Margaret Reiner, please come to the...
Oh, I like that you think I got your last name right. That, I like that optimism.
He used to be the Reiner all the time. By the way, Reiner is incorrect.
Yeah, it's Ryer. She's not related to Carl.
Christ.
Carl and Rob. No.
No, it's Reiner.
Oh, funny.
Next
All of a
thing,
sudden,
your
I
name will
looked
be
up 'cause
Hendershot.
I just
We'll
said,
change
right.
it.
Everybody drink
Ernie,
to that.
good old Ernie Hendershot over here.
Right.
Welcome, Ernie Hendershot.
Yes, thank you.
The
That's
best part
pleasure to
is-
be
I
here.
looked up funny because you said Carl. That was my dad's real name. He
Oh,
went
Buzz?
by Buzz.
Oh.
And but when you said she's not yet Carl, and I'm like, oh, what? Carl Reiner?
Carl-
not Reiner.
right, not Reiner, Carl
yeah.
Reiner.
Yeah, so that
Right.
confused me for a minute. Easy to do.
Yes.
Easy to do.
Okay, so.
So anything, I did tell Marnie this yesterday. Margaret, whatever. That, I ordered some things online,
Oh.
not Cyber Monday. I did
Okay.
it on Black Friday because some stuff was 50% off.
Yeah.
And I got, this is a shameless plug. I don't shop at the Gap. In the past, I've been too fat to shop at the Gap, and now it's just too expensive. But shit was on sale. I got the best pair of leggings that I just wear in my house. Nobody needs to see me in those. But they are so
Are they
delightful.
overstocked from 87? What are they?
No, they are so delightful that it's worth mentioning right now on
Okay.
things I did this week.
Oh, I just
okay.
want to tell you my.
Oh my God.
I hate shopping. I hate malls. But the greatest thing and the thing I always go to is the Gap clearance table. Is almost the happiest place on earth for
and
me.
the outlet is pretty
because the
spectacular
fat
when
sizes that I
nobody's
wear,
there.
no one's bought them. No one
Right.
else is shaped like me. So there's plenty of choices in my sizes.
I feel you.
And they're
That's
soft. Like
So that's the thing of these leggings is they're so soft.
almost my entire wardrobe is brought to you by Gap or Old
Old
Navy.
Navy. I'm
Old Navy,
If I was
head
if
to
I was
toe.
Or
if I'm a
soft.
little heavier, I have to go to Old Navy.
Yeah.
Thinner weeks, I can go to the Gap. Fatter weeks.
Where I
That's
am.
exactly true.
Yep.
Yeah.
Poorer
exactly true.
weeks, richer weeks.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh.
And the
richer, for
clearance,
poor.
clearance table on both, delightful.
Delight-
Oh, yeah.
Delightful.
Martin
Yeah.
can find things for like $1.50 at Old Navy.
All,
in the
all these
clearance
T-shirts
section.
that you've been watching me wear for a year and a half, they're all Old Navy or Gap clearance specials.
Nice work.
I found out a way to.
Pocketless, because I do the same thing as
I'm
him, except
listening,
it's not a
Clayton.
black V-neck. It's,
Right.
it's just a plain ringer. Not even ringer. It's a plain T-shirt in
Sure.
various pastel colors.
Yeah.
All of them are blue, in case you were wondering. Or
Various.
I understand
like
that
my sister went
completely.
in there and just bought them out, and she brung them out, and she's like,
Will this
"It's the
work?
same, yeah." And then she's like, well, "It's the same fucking T-shirt in the same goddamn size. I don't know why we do it." And there's like one color that I'm like, "Oh no, no, no,
No,
not
that won't
one."
work. Mm-mm.
And then like 3 weeks later, I have like, "Yeah, I wore it the other day." My sister was like, "You'll never wear this."
And there you
Because
were.
it's baby puke green. I love it. I'm like, "That's a gorgeous
Ooh,
color."
yeah.
Well done.
I found out a way to make how to make a Banana Republic gift card stretch further.
Oh.
Give it to me.
Ooh.
No,
Oh yeah.
go to Old Navy on sale.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Same company.
Yes.
Oh yeah, Gap, Old Navy,
Right.
and they're all the same.
Yeah.
Because Matt Little, when he moved, he gave me this a sundry of cards. He's like, here, they've all got various amounts of money on them. Just
That's
do it.
fantastic.
So I called. I'm like, can I use it? I'm like, yep. So I went and new jeans and belts and whatever the hell else I bought.
Oh, that's really stretching your
like
dollar.
that.
But so I was much happier with it because I don't need anything from Banana Republic.
Oh, they have lovely, lovely clothes.
They
though.
do.
But you gotta be even a
Even
size
skinnier.
well, this show at this point doesn't get to wear those
Yeah.
those clothes.
No.
I remember
no.
when I could still
And
shop there.
I'm not paying that much for black T-shirts that I can get
Yeah.
from Hanes.com and they'll just show
right.
up and I don't have to
Right,
go
right.
anywhere.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I do have you know how Stacy and Clayton on isn't that his name?
Who?
On What Not to Wear? Isn't his name Clayton? Something like that. What's his name?
On what the show? What not to wear?
Yeah.
I have no idea what his name
never
is.
You know Stacy with the
Clearly,
with the
I've never
Skunk
seen
Street?
it.
I know. I love it.
Anyway, they always ask people what's your
I'd feel like a
favorite.
failure.
Oh, stop! They always ask what's your favorite thing you've ever worn, and my favorite thing I've ever worn, the best I've ever felt, is a brown dress from Banana Republic. It's a size 14. It's adorable. I don't even come close to fitting in it, but that's like my favorite thing I've ever worn. So I can appreciate Banana Republic.
So then when they ask you that, what happens to that information? Do they then try to find something that's like that to
they
get you
try
back
to
in?
find things that make you feel the way you felt when you were wearing that, because I remember how good I felt about myself.
So
How
they
do you
would
feel
look-
about Daisy Dukes in a tube top? Because that's
You know what? Next time I'm on the show with you, I will not
oh
wear
no,
that.
that's what I
No.
was
No.
thinking for
Right.
me. No,
It'd be pretty.
I pay to see
I
that
think
shit.
that'd be
you
nice.
would have to have enough money to pay
No.
to see me in Daisy
But that
Dukes
would
in a
be
Because
tube
I
top.
shop at Old Navy. I don't have much money anyway.
And there's not a show coming up that's going to involve that in a wardrobe selection.
No.
I'm sure.
Oh, mercy, mercy.
I like my legs, but only up so high. You know what I mean?
Well, I stopped
2 inch-
shaving about 2 inches above the knee.
okay.
2 inches above the knee. I'm
Oh,
good.
his name's
Any higher.
Clinton. His name's Clinton.
Clinton.
Sorry.
Got it.
As in
Different,
Bill.
different vowel. Or,
Clinton.
Yeah, different vowel.
Clayton Clinton.
There you go.
Okay,
Marn,
I'm done
It's
now.
a good week.
You turned 44.
Yep.
Look at you. You
did.
made it.
I'm not a
Welcome
prime-
to the dark
No
side.
more prime numbers. I like it.
Oh, I can't wait till
like
that
it.
happens to me.
Which one?
Fuck you.
No, it was a really good week. I got to see some beautiful people more than I normally do, so that was lovely.
It was
She's
a
talking
lot
about
of
me.
Normally you see
No.
non-beautiful people.
No, I got to see some of the people that I think are beautiful.
rare beauty
more
is what she's
often.
Gotcha.
talking about.
Yes,
Now that,
yes,
it
rare
was a
and
delight.
complete.
Good.
Yes, it was really nice. It was lovely to see your mom last
Yes.
week.
Yes,
Hi,
yes,
Di.
and a
Hi,
delicious
Di.
meal.
Thank you for
Yes.
everything.
And that was very nice. We got there a little bit later than anticipated. Jason
No.
had
The second you got there, everybody
Well, no,
left.
this is a good. I mean, not a good reason, but
maybe
this
the
is a
first
valid.
time.
Oh,
I
no,
don't know,
That's
but yeah.
it's a tough holiday, and we both we do it at different ends of the weekly spectrum. But I love that, like, do it on a day where everybody's a little bit more free.
Yes.
So you're not trying to go house to house to house, which is
Right.
what all those holidays turn into.
And
Right.
keep everybody, like hurry and
Yeah.
whatever. So yeah, we love doing that on Friday, and this year was a much smaller crowd than typical, but it was wonderful. I mean, it was just, and it was such an eclectic kind of crowd. It was
Yeah.
weird for me.
It's
like
such a
to
nice,
look
easy
around.
night. It was such a
was.
lovely evening. I was very. Just a good time laughing for
Yeah, me
hours.
too.
Your brother was fun.
Isn't my brother fantastic? I
Yeah,
was
that was
so
very
happy
fun.
that he came to spend time with us. I love
that's
my brother.
that's someone I've not yet met. I don't believe.
No.
You haven't, and
Okay.
he is fantastic,
No.
and I love him very
and
much.
it was
and
just
he
so
thought you were
delightful.
just fantastic.
Well, I
Both
mean,
you and Doug.
everybody was firing. Everybody
Yeah.
was on in their most charming conversational selves.
Yes.
And
Well, and it was beautiful. I mean, Cosette came and was there all afternoon and most of the evening, late into the evening.
and fun.
Yes.
Oh
And
yeah, very late.
Very
she was
late.
there
she
very
was
late,
there
as I recall.
extraordinarily late.
Oh,
I
really
think she
late,
was the
yeah.
last one to leave.
Last one to leave.
She left at like 3 a.m.
I was
Perhaps.
already asleep on the couch by like 10:30.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, but there's still a video part of the
That's
program.
right. My bad.
Oh yeah.
It was about 2:30.
Doug Wilkie was there.
2:30 in the morning.
And,
right,
and,
Cosette?
and it was so nice to meet Laura's often referred to but rarely seen
Rarely
husband.
seen.
Right.
Yes.
Jordan
And
and,
he-
Brian were there.
That's right. They were hiding out
Doing
in front,
lights.
putting up the lights.
Oh, right,
Almost
right.
The whole day.
And it was so funny because I had just met them the week before, and I was like, I've
That's
just
right.
met these people, but I don't know where.
Yes, Jasper and her boyfriend
And I'm so
Brian.
shy that I didn't ask. You know what I mean?
Right, you are very demure.
Yeah, I wondered about that whole thing because the guy, good-looking guy, never met him. I met him
And
just saying
so
hi, and that was
wonderful.
it.
Oh, we
So
love him.
I had to wonder. I'm like, when we were sitting down having the dinner or at the restaurant, I thought to myself,
Yeah, having the dinner.
Ooh.
We didn't never really get the dinner.
he hasn't been around this whole group before like this. I'm thinking, wow, what kind of an indoctrination is this for him? But I don't know really who all he's met or what he's seen. But I'm thinking, wow, he's sitting down at a table full of a lot of different
a
people.
lot of personalities.
Yeah.
I think the first
and
time.
did very well.
yeah,
did.
I
He
think the
didn't say
first time I
anything.
met Brian,
Great
I
guy.
said, "I hope you like gay people because you're around them all the time now." Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, because you
deal
will
with
be.
it. Yeah, he's wonderful, and we are so happy. And he needs to call me when he was ready to buy a ring. I'll help him pick it out.
Yeah, she's not pushing these things
Nope, not
at all.
No,
for
and
him to
Leave-
marry Jordan.
They're moving in together.
How long have they been dating?
It'll be
Almost
a
a
year.
year.
Oh, Jasper, I never get to see her anymore. I just don't. We don't
know.
keep
I know.
up.
Time just flies.
It does. Wow. Wow. The last time I really remember seeing her for an extended period of time was when we did the first photo shoot for the show.
Oh, okay.
I know that I've seen her a couple of times since then, but the
Sure,
last time that I was really
Oh wait,
around
now
her-
is that who she is? Did she take the pictures?
No, that
that's
was Amanda Nimick.
Yeah.
But no, she was there at Rebar the day we did the shoot.
That's
So-
fantastic.
But that's the last time I remember really sitting down with her and
Sure.
and talking or whatever. Wow.
Sure.
Wow,
Sweetheart.
so that makes sense. So she met Brian just after that, my guess is.
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
time.
it was
They're all
pretty
growing up.
fantastic. They are.
Everybody's
They're all growing up real fast. But it was a lovely week, and so I really just had a fantastic time and laid back, and my yard looks good, and it just
That's
everything
so
makes
funny.
me
I was
so
gonna mention.
happy.
I was gonna mention that about mine. Isn't that funny?
Is that it truly just calms me. That part calms me. I just need to go out more often and look at my yard because I'm not very calm.
It's a lovely thing. I mowed my lawn today, and I
And
love
my favorite line of late Friday night was, "Oh, we've spent so many Thanksgivings together. I just met you last week."
Yeah.
Because we did 3 Thanksgivings in 4 days.
Yeah.
So I'm like,
And
oh,
it was
we're at
just
our
yesterday.
3rd Thanksgiving
No,
together.
it was. Oh yeah, it was our
Yeah.
third.
In as many
Yeah,
in as
and
many
just
days.
yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. We spent so many Thanksgivings
But
So
we
together.
had-
sad.
Jason was in the hospital, and so that was
Is
one of
he
the
still?
reasons. And he was released
Yesterday.
Yep. So he's at home
Okay.
now, and but that was one of the reasons for at your mom's that things were so much not actually so much later than we anticipated, but an hour.
or so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
But he was there for almost a week, but he's home now.
Yeah, he's home
Wow,
and,
there for a
and
week.
hopefully on the road to
Yes.
healing.
Yes,
'cause-
and please, and if he might be listening, but
Yeah.
please give him my information to call me with anything
sure.
he
nice.
needs or any.
For those of you wondering,
That's
he had
nice,
he
thank
had breast implants
Shut up. He
at
did
the
not.
hospital.
He actually was
And I'd like-
butt cheek implant.
Oh,
And
but
I'd like to come over and squeeze
yeah.
them.
Yes, you are
Yes.
welcome anytime. Once they
it.
heal.
Just
You are killing
ass
me.
implants is really what
Yes.
it was.
Both.
Well, yeah.
Top and bottom balance.
Well, weird. Let's not bring that up.
Speaking of tops and bottoms, ow.
It is better when tops and bottoms balance. I
We
just
like the balance.
an equal number of both at any party is important,
Mr.
especially for a
Perkins.
key party.
To you again.
Well, I have to say my lawn human showed up today.
I'd love
And-
that in my lawn.
He always calls him.
And last year he surprised me with a Christmas greeting, and then I realized I was an asshole and I had Christmas cards on my table. So I went in and wrote one real quick and threw a check in it because I'm like, fuck. I gotta tip this guy. A Christmas tip is always appropriate. Well,
Sure.
now he's been in charge of my yard for quite some time.
Okay.
So the thing that may or may not be a tree, I think it's a giant weed that has now reached a size that you have to call it some kind of bush. Because it's seriously like...
Is it one of the bushes that smells like cum? Because I'm over the
No,
cum
no,
trees.
no.
I'm
They're
fucking
everywhere
over
else
it.
in my yard. But
Those
this
are trees.
right.
Those are full trees.
I'm
mature
done with
trees.
them.
Allegedly,
Cut 'em
when
down.
I bought my house, there was a lemon and lime tree in the front. They were marked, and I kept the price tags on them for a long time because I find
I
that
love it.
very funny.
I love it.
There's a piece of plastic in my fridge that I was trying to figure out what it was. I'm like, did somebody break my fridge and put tape there? No, it's part of the original, like, take this off when you start to use it.
Oh.
So I left it.
Okay.
Because the
Does
back...
your mattress still have a tag on it?
No, but the back seat of my car still has all the
His
plastic
mattress has
to
been
open the
through it.
doors. Like, I won't let anybody take off the plastic
God,
from
I
the door
love it.
handles. So he's been taking care of it, and this thing in my front yard is now huge. And the other day, I swear to God, I saw a lime. Swear to God. Or maybe it'll turn into a lemon or something else. But there's a piece of fruit on there.
Oh.
So part of whatever this thing that grew may have like swallowed up its twin fruit tree. But it was too high, and I didn't really care enough to explore further to find out what it was I was looking at. So I'm like, maybe someday somebody will
there.
come over and pick that.
Sure.
So maybe next year I'll have fruit of some sort. Who knows? But the grass,
Besides the ones
Nice.
at the stable.
yeah, the grass is so green and so green and beautiful that I really wanted to go out there and take a picture today because he does beautiful work for what I think
Well
is
done.
fire sale
A
prices.
lovely price.
And then it's
Very
just
good.
House next door status.
halfway done, and I meant to go over today and knock on their door, but by the time I get up, it's time to leave because that would be one more thing that would make me 5 minutes late. Would be to like, by the time I'm like, oh, because they don't come over every day anymore. I think they're at the point now where they're not making the kind of noise they were where they felt they had to
Right.
apologize. So we're a few days in betwixt visits, and there was 90. Oh my God. So we're talking about a class reunion. That Tyler went to where only 6 people showed up.
Oh.
And
Tyler was the
I'm
belle
not
of
in
the
the
ball.
I'm not in the chat room, but how many were in the class?
I don't know, but he hasn't said how many were in
5.
the class. But only
One got married. Yeah.
But there were only 5 other people but him there.
Oh my god.
And one of them was the boyfriend of someone. So it was really only 4 people that he knew. And
Oh, the class president had wine and beer.
Oh, there
he
you go.
says.
with
yeah.
his boy, and he brought a boyfriend, so that's kind of fun. That
Oh, yay.
literally one half of the crowd was gay.
Yeah.
Well, how do you know the class president wasn't a girl? Sexist.
Oh, I don't. You're right. Well, I
Well
just saw the
done.
part about Lady Gaga and what they played.
Oh.
I just went with visual
Speaking
clues.
of lip syncing with Lady Gaga,
Oh,
anyway.
Lord.
So, and that was about it. And then there was 140 something in his class. Mine was like 220 or something like that. But my 25 year was really poorly planned, and it was really because it was in honor of someone sort of that was sick that usually had planned them and
Okay.
clinging to life sort of deal. So we all went. And,
Clinging to life.
I don't know. It was a whole big to do.
He's so annoyed. Ugh.
But I went. I'm always back there in the summertime. So what the fuck? Go to a party.
You're right.
How hard is that? I went to my sister's one time and I knew as many people as she did, so that was kind of funny.
Oh, good.
But I had to keep telling them I didn't graduate with you all. I'm not old.
Right.
Which they
I'm
stopped.
much younger
it
than you.
stopped
I
being-
remember you telling that story
It
once
stopped
before.
being charming by like the 17th person I told. That was like, can we just kill him?
Right.
So that was.
Please.
And I think that's about. I mean, some movies that I'm gonna talk about later, some
Okay.
little events that I'm gonna tie together. But other than that, just a very relaxing week because I still haven't worked.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I worked my one day.
You worked one day at the restaurant.
With someone who is in a food coma.
Yes.
Induced food
Just
coma.
an induced food coma. Too much turkey, dear. So
Yes.
it's been
That
kind of
tryptophan will
funny
get
because
ya.
I'm like, I need to go back to work just because I need something to do. Like,
Keep
I
your
just
mind
keep going
going
to
and
bed,
keep your
like-
skills up.
they're like, what are you going? What am I going to bed for? I don't know. I don't have to get up for anything. There's no real point to this.
Sure.
So this morning there was a meeting that I could have gone to, but they were like, well, you're not scheduled. It's an early morning meeting. We really don't expect night people to show up. And I'm like, well, I'll go in. I may have something to contribute. Well, I took my Benadryl at 10, hoping to fall asleep, and at 4 a.m. I was still awake. So I'm
Oh,
like, no, I'm not
God.
going to show up like half dead on a Benadryl at 7:30 in the morning. So
Right.
I just wrote my condolences and
Yes.
Oh boy. That would
Clayton
be too
McKee.
much.
Yeah.
It's just the normal. It's work here, work there. And the funny thing was, now we all know it because I've made no hidden agenda that or about. Christmas isn't my deal. The whole holidays really isn't my deal. But I like some Christmas lights, so I have my obligatory. I have my lights, and I'm
Aaron
gonna,
mentioned
I'm
them.
gonna be
right?
Did I
doing.
said,
No,
look at
I-
his one strand of white lights.
Yes, once
Had
in a
I
while.
been with someone, I would have said it to them too, because I was like, "Oh, Christmas lights."
Yeah. So I've got to put the strand up at my mom's, though she decorates on the inside. So, but the bar now, being part of the cast and crew of Charlie's, they all get together and like they started yesterday and finished today. The interior decorating of the bar, which
Oh,
is
and that's insanity.
it's because it's everywhere. Well, here. I got a phone call yesterday from one of the managers, and they wanted to know if, first of all, when anybody calls you, it's like, well, hi, what are you doing?
Oh God.
Really?
Always say
Yeah.
you're busy.
Yeah. Well, I'm typically always busy with
Yeah,
doing
that's
something,
true.
but I'm like, well, you didn't call to chit chat with me, so what's up? Well, we were just wondering. What are you wondering? Well, remember last year when you took such great care of all the inflatable Christmas decorations?
I'm glad you said
Yes.
Christmas decorations.
I'll be
after the
so
word
I'll be
inflatable.
doing the inflatable, the big Frosty the Snowman, and which I call Frosty LaHoot because it falls a lot.
Oh, that's funny.
I do.
Poor thing.
It is.
Frosty LaHoot.
Did you see my picture from last year where it's laying
God.
face down in the volleyball court?
I don't think I
I will
remember
find that
that
picture for you. But
Oh
anyway,
my
so
God, that's
this week,
very
later
funny.
this week, I have to go do the inflatable Christmas stuff, and I've been asked to go to Vegas. I'll be in Vegas. I'll go to Vegas. I think we leave next Monday morning. I go up, and then I get the U-Haul truck.
snow?
I load the U-Haul truck with the bags of that styrofoam snow, and then I'll drive that back on Tuesday and be back here before the show.
What's the styrofoam snow?
Don't you know how it snows inside Charlie's, where they've got the entire bar is full of that shit, and it winds up in your shoes and your truck and your house?
Oh
and
no, I would
it's
never.
everywhere.
No,
Oh,
that's
yeah.
that's like a confetti party. I ain't going.
I'll show you a picture. I'll get you.
No.
I have a picture of both Frosty LaHoot and the snow. Yes, absolutely. So
That is very
So all
funny.
of that, and just regular, work stuff. That's all it is. So I always feel like my life is so boring and routine, but I put so much shit into to life.
Well,
Yeah.
today you did laundry. You said.
Oh,
and
laundry,
you did
the lawn, client stuff.
More than I did.
Yeah.
Very
Well, I just
busy.
taught children all day. Ugh. Just kidding. I love
Wow.
Just kidding. I really do love my students.
When you start
Any-
to call your clients scumbags, it's time to stop being a social worker.
Would
Well,
you like me to send a copy of this podcast to the NEA?
no, we're good. I'm a dues paying member, my friend.
Well, aren't you? Yeah, you're more than I thought you were the president of
I
something.
was the president of my local union
Now
until
she's just a member.
a year and a half ago because I was getting suicidal. So
Oh, and the other thing is I'm trying to win a car.
then can I have the one?
Where are
for
you gonna-
driver?
yeah, where are you
'Cause
gonna park
that's
that one?
No.
fantastic.
Oh, I'll figure. Well, if I
Because
win
I
this
noticed
car,
your truck is across the street.
Yeah.
The other truck's at my house. There's a car here.
she's got more room in that parking area there.
I just had to laugh. I'm like, next it's gonna be the cats are gonna be in different places.
No, so this one. Okay, so the one show that I DVR and I watch if I can, though it frustrates me because of what they do. It's called Fast and Loud. It's a garage in Dallas that does. They get cars and they take a lot of older cars and they convert them, which breaks my heart. They convert them to these muscle cars and hot rods and all this bullshit. Well, sometimes they actually just do full restorations, legitimate full restorations of cars and make them better than when they came off the showroom floor. Whatever. Well. They're in some sort. It must be sweeps. Is it sweeps right now for TV?
November sweeps, yes.
Okay.
No, it's over. They ended.
Oh, okay. Well, then I don't know why they're doing it right now, but they're doing a tie-in with I'm sure two of you out of the three are going to remember this. The movie Smokey and the Bandit, which was the Burt Reynolds
That would
thing.
be the two
That
of
would
you
be
that would
me.
remember that.
That
Oh,
yeah,
I
not
thought-
me.
no, I figured that
Absolutely.
you'd somehow be in the mix on this one.
Not
So
sorry.
the premise
Loves
of
that movie.
okay, so the premise of the movie is
He's late for something and driving really fast.
a rich guy decides he wants
a
beer
movie based
in
on my
a
life.
dry
Yes.
county or a dry state, so he
Oh, what a
pays
shame.
the bandit and his truck driving friend, played by Jerry Reed, to drive a tractor trailer full of beer from
Eastbound
Texas
and down.
to wherever the hell it was. It's like an 1,800-mile trip. Anyway,
That sounds like something we would do.
I didn't know
Totally.
there was a plot to
Yeah.
that
no,
movie.
there is a whole plot to the movie. So
Thanks.
if you'll remember,
That was Clint.
in the
Eastwood.
movie, Burt Reynolds and then he picks up the character called Frog, who is played by
Sally
Sally
Field.
Field.
Sally Field.
They drive a '77 black Trans Am with T-tops. Just
Now that I knew.
the hottest car.
That's probably the only car in a movie or
That you-
anything that I've ever
right.
known what it
I don't know
was.
anything about
So
it.
this show, Fast and Loud, and again, that's why I thought this was a sweeps thing. The guy, a friend of his who's a really wealthy a real estate person in Louisiana, walks into his office and says, I got a deal for you. Here's what I need. Here's the money that you got, and I'm going to make another bet with you. So he pulls out of a bag $70,000 in cash and lays it on his desk and says, I want a Smokey and the Bandit Trans Am. I need it restored, ready to go. It's got to be in a show, but you've got 6 days to do it.
Oh my.
Oh, okay.
But he makes a supplemental bet. He says, and if you get it to me delivered at blah, blah, blah place by a certain time, there's an additional $40,000
Oh,
in it
that
for
part I
you.
remember that they have to get something a certain distance
By a
and
certain
they put
time. and then-
deadline.
right, deadline.
CDs were very popular.
So he
and
get-
Sally
so-
Field was rejuvenating her career.
So
the
he
whole
throws
thing.
70K on
right.
the desk, throws the stipulation of, I need it by 3 p.m., 6 days from now, blah, blah, blah. You get an extra 40,000. However, if you can get Burt Reynolds to autograph the car, you get an additional $25,000. So that's what starts the premise of it. They find the car, they start rebuilding the car, blah, 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 blah. Well, then they go to Florida and they go to Burt Reynolds' place, which he's...
The Neptune Theater. Am I right?
I'm not sure where it is.
Oh, I don't
I think it's
know.
well, I know I think he's in Neptune, Florida.
I think
and
that's-
he has a theater company
So
there.
they go,
I didn't
but they
know
go to
that.
his house. Well, it's a 2-part series, so next week's the rest of it. Well, Paul Williams, who plays Little
my God,
Enos,
yeah.
Oh.
shows up at the garage, and the guy's like, "You're Little Enos." He goes, "Listen, dummy, I'm here on behalf of the guy who's got the money." And then he throws the rest of the deal in it. Now they've got to get a tractor trailer full of beer.
Oh, because Paul Williams is the son
Is
of
the
the
son
person
of
that
Pat
plays
McCormack.
Her
the-
name Pat McCormack.
Pat McCormack.
Right.
Yes, I was
Yes.
Who is like 90 feet tall.
Big
and-
Enos and
yeah,
Little
yeah.
Enos. So he shows up dressed as Little Enos.
Oh, and there's a very funny
In this
documentary
show?
called Paul Williams is Alive
Oh,
because he was missing. Like not missing, but he was off the radar for so
So
long.
long.
Oh.
So someone made a documentary about his life and then found out that he was alive and they're like, "Oh, well, I guess
well.
we have to change what this
God,
is
that's
about."
our
Funny.
story ends with Paul being alive.
Wah, wah.
So then it's kind of like a reintroduction to Paul Williams, who's
no.
alive and doing quite well.
So
Oh,
the
no.
the crux of my whole story was the fact that they are in this contest is every week they are doing a keyword on the episode of each week, and then you are entered to win the car. So in January they're going to give away this 77 restored TA that's perfect, and I'm like, oh, how cool would it be to have that car because it's such an iconic car, that
Yeah,
look and
yeah.
all, and it would fit me perfectly.
it really would.
Yeah. So anyway, that's what it is. But it's kind of funny because Reynolds is 77. And he's in the
Dear
the
God.
deal,
Yeah.
still going. But when Paul Williams walked up again, I'm like somebody I thought was dead because I just assumed he was dead. He walks in and he's just as snarky as he ever as he was. And the guy reaches out and touches his arm and goes, "Don't touch the actor. Don't touch the actor."
Oh. Still has a sense of humor, because he was on The View pushing the documentary last year as it was going around, and was singing some of his.
Paul Williams still alive is the fourth thing that pops up with Paul Williams.
Well, because he's
Yeah,
still
'cause
alive.
he's still alive.
PaulWilliamsStillAlive.com.
Still
Yeah.
there.
It's its own website.
So I mean, and very funny.
Oh, I know who that is.
Yeah, you know him, and
Yeah.
he wrote the Rainbow Connection,
Yes.
and he wrote the lyrics to Evergreen and won an Oscar with Barbra Streisand.
So-
But his list of songwriting credits is staggering.
Speaking of Kermit, with
Lady Gaga.
with Rainbow Connection, Lady Gaga is fucking weird. I know that I'm supposed to be
You
like,
late to this
I'm-
dance?
I've never watched her perform like that. Like she's the craziest. She's got crazy eyes, crazier than Crazy Eyes on Orange Is the New Black.
Yeah.
She's fucking weird.
I thought that too. The cute thing though about I forgot to tape it, and I've watched here and there, but Joseph Gordon-Levitt in
Oh,
her
it was
Oh,
adorable.
adorable.
did Baby It's Cold Outside.
I have it recorded if you'd like to see it.
Is there
Oh, wait, no.
anything that Joseph
rid of
Gordon-Levitt
it.
can't do, ladies and gentlemen?
Isn't
I don't think
he
so.
just
No.
adorable?
It was horrible to suffer through. I actually got through about half of it. I'm like, I can't watch anymore.
Well, so at the very end, she does this scene with Kermit where they're talking, and she's trying to like act and not have crazy eyes, and it's really uncomfortable to watch.
And then
thing was
one
great.
of the comments that I read about it was that because everyone's new doing the voices and they're not quite there, that it's hard to watch the Muppets now
Oh,
because
I thought they were close
thought
enough.
they did
I grew
pretty
up
well.
watching.
Oh,
We just
I can't
talked
believe you
about
just
that.
segued into a story that I was going to bitch about anyway. Go ahead.
We we both said how we both watched the Muppets every week growing up, and I didn't think the voices were that bad. I thought Lady Gaga was weird. She sang
That's her
with-
actual voice, though.
Oh well, she yes, well, she
That's
sang
too
a
bad.
song, an Elton John song with him. He sang
Right.
Gaga and the Jets. And she was good on that,
Painful.
but then she tried to sing one of her songs, and
Painful.
he tried to sing with her, but he
Oh.
couldn't really follow her because she's
'Cause-
not really followable.
Right.
And she had Muppet hair.
Oh my
No.
gosh, she had
Oh,
Muppet
it's
hair.
horrible.
and he really can't sing anymore.
I love
like
him though.
somebody. Oh, I do
do
too.
too.
But somebody has to tell him.
Yeah.
Gigs up.
Yeah. Well,
Like you can't hit those
I'd
high
still see him
notes,
in concert.
and it's everybody behind him that's
Selling it.
selling it
Yeah.
because he honestly can't hit. He has no falsetto left. He's got nothing. There's nothing left. He's given you like one monotone. So to him, and she can sing. As crazy
she
as she
can
is,
sing. Oh, girl can sing.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
that makes it very hard for someone who's 70 years old and
know,
on
to
his
really
last
follow.
toupee.
Well, and it was very, it was
Last
very
plug.
cool to.
His
Welcome.
last plug. Ba-doom, plug.
Thanks.
Welcome Columbia
Hello,
to
Columbia.
the listenership.
The country?
Yes, somebody
Ooh,
from
That's
Columbia.
way better than like Columbus, Ohio.
So
Or Columbia University.
we'd love to hear
but
where
both are
you
lovely.
are.
Both are lovely.
Before I forget, and I was going to bring it up, but I thought no, because I'd be the only one who gave a shit about it. So there's a movie coming out. It's called Mr. Peabody and Sherman, and it is about
No. Mr. Pitt, like the.
from Rocky and Bullwinkle.
Yeah.
Mr. Peabody.
That's who my
that's
Rocky's
cute.
named after.
Who had
FYI.
the Wayback Machine, and Sherman was the kid that didn't understand history. So Mr. Peabody, the dog, taught him all about history, and they would flash back in
Okay, now
time.
we're at 3 out of 4 again because I got nothing.
Okay.
on
Oh,
this.
well, you remember Rocky and Bullwinkle?
Nah, it's not one of those ones I liked. I mean, I know what it is, but
Boris and Natasha.
yeah.
Anyway,
Yes.
so
Another one of
this-
those things I never found funny.
Pixar is doing a Mr. Peabody and Sherman story. That's the deal.
Love it.
Cute.
But okay, so here's what gets me. And typically, when you're going to do a remake, and I think one of the classics that the different people have voiced, but they always try to do it in an homage, if not really just try to get it right, is like Shaggy from Scooby Doo, who was voiced by Casey Kasem. All those
Always
years.
forget that.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Casey Kasem. If you listen to him, zoinks.
Immediately.
He always,
Oh, yeah.
totally.
Boom.
So
Yeah.
anyway, anytime they remake anything Scooby-Doo, Shaggy always sounds like Shaggy should. They've always got that whatever finesse to it. I was so disappointed. I saw the trailer for the Mr. Peabody movie. Mr. Peabody's not English. And they didn't even get close, not at all, to the voice. So it just lost it to me. And
Who, did they say who?
I don't know. I didn't read the who's doing it. I was just bummed because I'm like, well, now I want to go back and watch the old animated.
Right.
Oh, and what I used to love is Fractured Fairy Tales, where they would have a fairy tale and it was the whole story was fucked up and wrong. Like the real story,
have
and
to
then
see it again.
like Rapunzel would come out and see her shadow, and there'd be 6 more weeks of winter or something stupid like that.
Sure.
The Fractured Fairy Tales were wonderful.
I
but
had my students write those, and then we make puppets.
the
and we
Mr.
perform puppet
Peabody
shows.
movie is just I'm
Cute.
not having to.
When is
live
that
with it.
supposed to be released?
I believe this Christmas. I don't know. And again, I just watched the trailer and I was so disappointed I couldn't make it through anymore. Wow, 45 minutes of get to know you better, and I think it's time we're gonna do a little bit of headlines right here,
Still shorter than when Katie's here.
something like that. Here's a look at newsy stuff that we dug up and thought, well, what the hell? We'll talk about this. Why not? A man is arrested 62 times for simply going to work.
Gay weddings in Hawaii. Really aloha.
Somebody's dating an Oscar winner.
Disgusting homophobic tweets.
Kondo uses DNA testing to bag dog poop.
There's an alcoholism vaccine,
Oh, yes. No topless haircuts for you.
and we're gonna pay alcoholics to keep streets clean.
Oh, we should. That's a good idea.
I have one last one.
Go.
The Dikey character from Top Gun is now.
How is Tom Cruise?
Yeah, exactly. Is now the Deputy Secretary of War or Defense.
Huh?
For real, the woman that they just put in, she's the interim. I think it's Deputy Secretary, whatever Chuck Hagel is he's the Secretary of Defense now?
Babe?
I want to say yes.
Oh, she's out there
The
somewhere.
Deputy Secretary is the woman who the character of Kelly McGillis is based on in
Oh,
Top
gotcha.
Gun.
God, I was trying to picture who was in Top Gun.
It turns out it was based on a real person, and she's been lingering around waiting for her next shot at fame, and she got it today. And what the fuck is in the kitchen? Because it smells delicious.
It is.
I
You
can't-
get the right.
I
you
can't
get the right side.
I can't smell
for
anything.
dinner, and I haven't
Did you-
eaten yet.
did
so
you get the
I
right
was out
side?
there, and it was.
Oh my gosh.
It looked
Hey,
fantastic.
want some? I'll bring some in.
No, I'm good. Sit down. We got shit
You
to
can
do.
go get me a piece, though. I won't turn you down.
God.
Ditto.
Okay, I'll bring it.
Just bring it. Just bring it in.
Yeah.
I want the mushroom.
We'll get a hot plate. Bring it in.
There you go.
Cheesy Pete's. It's good to have a woman around the house. Longmont,
I've heard.
Colorado. Well, you are a woman, aren't you? Okay, there's that. Well,
Check again.
a woman who allegedly offered topless hairstyle services in northern Colorado now faces criminal charges. But police say the problem isn't cutting hair without a top. Well, no, it's cutting hair without a license. The Longmont Times reports 46-year-old Suzette Hall was arrested Wednesday night on suspicion of practicing cosmetology without a license. Hall's former partner says she advertised $45 topless haircuts online. And according to the arrest warrant, the former business partner called police about the topless styling because she said she did not believe that it was safe or proper. Police were not able to turn up any Craigslist ads, and Hall's ex-husband told police that she set up shop in Loveland, really, and offered her services as a, quote, rebel barber. He told police she applied for a new license for hairstylist, but there is no such license in existence.
I love it. I wanted to be fully licensed.
But they didn't have that license.
Alas. Oh, and if it was a crime to practice cosmetology without a license, let me tell you about the 80s and how many people's hair I dyed stoned in my basement.
Well, did you charge them? Or is it just a freebie?
No.
I don't know. It was a Flowbee. No, I don't know.
No, a freebie. A freebie's
I know.
different if you're a professional. But yeah, there's a lot of licensing.
I got it.
Yeah.
What about this quiche serving? Do we need a license for this shit?
No, but
I don't do
want
things right.
No, you do everything right. I just don't want any of that red shit like on my
Half
stuff.
is peppers, deliciousness, and half is fungus, like what grows on your feet.
I enjoy both. Not your descriptions, but the actual food groups.
Yeah,
that
if you
you're
can make it
mentioning.
French and all of a sudden you have to pay extra for it, we're on board. But otherwise, don't tell me what's in the sausage.
Yeah.
Marnie, since you're cutting that, do you want me to go on?
Yeah, go next.
Go ahead.
Well, here's a story that just popped up late this afternoon on my newsfeed, actually, but I figured Al might have some sort of it was a tie-in for Al. Well, the visionary, and though I don't think you've ever eaten this product, it's related to where you used to work. The visionary behind the $1 billion taco, Doritos Loco Tacos, who never made any money on it, Todd Mills passed away on Thanksgiving Day. He died after battling brain cancer and is survived by his daughters, Tyler and Lainey. He actually was back in 2009. He wrote a letter to Frito-Lay after he repeatedly had made some sort of a taco salad and used Doritos in the salad, and kept saying to his wife that somebody should make something of this. So he wrote a letter in 2009 to Frito-Lay pitching the idea, and their response literally was, "Thanks, but no thanks." So he then created a grassroots level way to get this done, and he had made a Facebook page called Taco Shells for Doritos Movement, and then encouraged people to join on the bandwagon. Cool Ranch, and then there's the fiery ones, and there's regular Doritos, blah, blah, blah. Well, after being online for so long, actually somebody from Taco Bell sent him a note one day and said that we kind of liked your idea. Thought it was pretty cool. So when the Taco Bell chefs, wherever they are, got
Irvine,
this,
California.
where they got this idea together, they actually flew him from Little Rock, Arkansas, and he was one of the first people to try the new product. And again, never claimed that he never wanted any money for it. Just thought it was a cool idea, and thought it was so excellent that his idea went over so well that in tribute to him after his passing, several people that knew him then posted pictures on his Facebook page of them eating his Doritos Locos Tacos that he had the idea
how
for.
kind
But I thought it was so
people are.
cool. Last year, Taco Bell's sales exceeded $1 billion just of the Locos Tacos.
You're kidding.
And I think
Wow.
they're wonderful. I mean, nobody should eat all that, but they're great. They're cool. They're wonderful. Who wouldn't have come up with that
I've
idea?
still never tried one.
I haven't.
great.
I don't think I have.
I've never tried a Cool Ranch one, but I like
The
regular
fiery one- I love the
I can
f-
do one of them.
the
Like I
fiery
can eat
one is good.
75 bean burritos and onions in a row, but
Oh.
only one Dorito taco
But
at a
that's
time.
an interesting after effect.
That's a good time.
I know. I do the burrito supreme green sauce, no onions.
No,
See?
It may need more salt and pepper. I have no
We
idea.
could share Taco Bell.
there we go. Marnie, you're up, girl.
Well, their gay weddings became a
Bitch,
reality.
bitch, please.
Gay weddings became a reality in Hawaii.
Yeah.
Aloha.
Tiny bubbles.
Well, there was this fantastic couple that they did a story on for the idea of this becoming a reality there. They're retired professors, Rod Powell and Bob Ettinger. They've been partners, it says partners in life, since they met at the University of Hawaii in 1977.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
Yeah.
charming.
It's been 36 years.
Same year as Smokey and the Bandit.
Longer
There
than
you
I've been
go.
alive.
Right? There
Do
you
they
go.
have a Trans Am?
They may. At this point, we don't know. Google that, please.
Yeah.
Yeah, would you?
Anyway, so the day that it became legal to get married, on the first day is when they decided to do that, but they did it differently. They had I believe it was Bob Ettinger, who was a big time civil rights person, advocate, and this gal Carolyn and her husband. They invited them to lunch, and she was able to marry them, and they did that all over lunch.
Oh.
So they kept it very like, here's not a big ceremony, here's not this and this. But before that had happened, Bob apparently Rod looked at Bob and said, "Hey, would you choose me again?"
Oh.
And he looked at him and he said, "I choose you every day."
That makes
And
me
the-
weepy.
And I think that about says it all about how we feel
So much
about
for the
each
no sugar
other,
diet.
right? But I thought that was just so incredibly wonderful.
That's how I feel about you, honey.
Oh,
How you like them apples?
there you have it. And they
Who's throwing
they're-
up in the chat room
I
right
already
now?
am. I am right now.
They're 78 and 74. And they've raised 3 children, and they've cared for ailing parents in their 36 years together.
Wow. Busy boys.
So, really, yeah. And they've.
How does their
they've-
lawn look, though?
Well, they're in Hawaii.
I think it's probably lovely.
Oceanfront property.
So
bird of
they
paradise.
had a lot to do with championing.
Championing.
She's
Thank
not even
you.
drinking.
No,
Couldn't
friends.
even get
that's
that.
a tough word, though.
It all of a sudden,
Oh
like,
my
no,
God.
that's not sounding right. But
These words are making me think of segues. You said champion. I got a story about that.
Do you know how to spell segue? I misspelled it in a college paper once, and my professor corrected me. Never forgot it.
Isn't
Seguay?
No, Segue.
Oh, yes.
And I spelled it like segue. But anyway, continue.
charming
please.
story.
Wow,
It
this is what
is.
happens when I drink, and I don't eat before I drink.
there you go.
I hate failing spelling tests.
Please.
to
but
that
was-
point in the story, there was a story on I can't recall if it's CNN radio I was listening to or what news outlet it was. It wasn't Fox, I assure you that. There is a couple that went to another state and got married, and the divorce is they're already wanting to get divorced, and they don't know the legal system in where they live doesn't
do it.
recognize the marriage, so they can't divorce them. So
Okay.
apparently the deal is now you got to go back to the state where you got married or something to that effect. I just thought it
Didn't
was,
that happen with people we know that live here, Marnie?
Yes. I feel like that story
A couple
is
that went
very-
off to the East Coast to get married, and then Splitsville, and then wanted to get divorced, but they have to go all the way back to Vermont to do it.
Yes, I feel like we just told that. Like, I feel like that was a story I just heard at a
Oh,
party.
come
or
on.
here.
Good luck. Come on.
no, but I just think, but I think that also
Yes. Okay.
That took me way too
but
long.
that
Really
story
did, yeah.
lends me to think again. Just because the gates are open to the pool
That's right.
doesn't mean you gotta swim. So let's all just ramp it back, Joan.
Right.
The ones that, like the gentleman that you just spoke to, have been together for so long. Get married. I get that. That's your deal. But if 10 days you've been together, you're not getting married yet.
Right.
Let's just ramp that down. That
Wait,
drives
but
me
we got to
crazy.
convince straight people to do that too, because you
Absolutely.
see,
Well, true.
how many people? I mean, how many couples are there
Britney
that are
Spears.
famous? Or
Britney Spears,
Right, but they've been able to do it
55
forever.
hours.
But I think the floodgates just opened. All them
Yeah.
like, oh, let's all get married. No, slow down.
Or
You're-
my friend Shane's parents, I
Dumbass.
think they knew each other 7 days and they got married. Now they've been together like 30 some years.
Right.
There are some stories
sure,
like
it
that,
hit-
but there
yeah, it's a
are
hit and
others
miss.
that are not.
Oh, they're probably like a 1 in a million.
Or
Well,
365.
Speaking of 1 in a million, let's go to our favorite state, Florida. Well, we got a good story. I thought we could
The
give
pool has turds.
We've
Yes, Laura.
the
Yes.
mirror has two faces.
Keep the pee out of my ool. What is that?
Yeah.
A woman who ate Thanksgiving dinner alone at a restaurant left a big surprise for those who worked the holiday shift that night.
Oh.
Florida Today reports the woman who didn't want to be identified says she needed her spirits lifted last Thursday night, and the staff of the Chart House restaurant apparently did just that. According to what she says, that they made her feel like a family member. They're always great to me, and I felt like I owed them a lot of gratitude for making my day. The woman sat at the bar, ordered a $29.95 Thanksgiving dinner, and spent 3 hours at the Chart House eating alone. When she left, bartender Kim Gasparini reached across the dimly lit bar for her check, and at first she thought the decimal had been placed at the wrong point in the check, though she thought the woman had left an $8.35 tip. But a note scrolled on a napkin instructed her and the other bartender that they each take $50 and split the remainder of the $835 tip between the other employees working that Thanksgiving day. Each worker got about $15 because there were 49 staff members working over the course of that
that's
whole
very
day.
nice.
That is.
News of the tip spread quickly among those who spent their holiday working at the restaurant. And the valet out there said that he heard about the tip, but he wasn't surprised that when he heard who left it. She's a very giving person, and we're just happy to have her here as a regular. But I thought that was very cool that she went in and little old gal, just her family was gone. She ate alone and said that you're my
And
family.
I can't remember. I don't think it was Barbara, but for some reason I think it was Barbara. On Facebook, someone put, "If you're alone today,
Molly.
Oh, is that Molly? And it became,
I loved that.
It became like a thing that people were doing it all over the place.
Oh,
like,
and
it-
maybe Barbara did. I don't know.
Yeah, and I'm not sure because I don't think it was Molly that I saw, but I did see a couple different people, and it was like,
I
if
love
you're
it.
alone today and you're having difficulties, please
Call me.
call me, and we can talk. Like we can, be, we can be friends for today, or if you're not an asshole, maybe longer.
Maybe longer. So,
Because I mean, I never, and like I just don't think of holidays the right way. I guess that I'm like, just do it when people are available. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Like I don't get, I just don't see the point of getting locked down on that date. Especially when they throw Thanksgiving to like the 22nd, the 29th, the 28th, and all of a sudden you're obligated to like people one
Right.
particular Thursday.
right. Pick a Thursday. So because
That's funny.
because sometimes I'm asleep by this point in the evening. Am I allowed to bring up a related story to your headline story?
Well, you are, but let me tell you how that's going to work.
After the break.
It's going to work after we do the crossover.
Oh, hooray!
Yeah, is that
Crossover.
exciting?
Yeah,
And it goes something like this. See, the
And
music
now-
starts.
yeah.
Yeah. It's the show. It's coming up at the end of hour 1. Hour 2 coming, well, just next, actually. We got some more headlines. Something that struck a fancy with Ernie.
Has to do with tips.
Tits or tips?
Not penises.
No,
Tips.
tip, T-I-P-S. Just the tip?
Just the tip.
There you go.
Thank
Just
you.
the tip, my friends.
Ernie Henderson in studio with us tonight, filling in for Katie June, who is busy doing something elsewhere, and I'm sure it involves a diet and something where ADD kicks in. Well, if your ADD hasn't kicked in, stick around. We got 2 more hours to go. The drinking game's coming up in just mere moments. Later on, Al's going to have a stimulating conversation with himself about entertainment.
You betcha.
We'll be back. It's the show on Q Talk America.
You've been listening to the show on Q Talk America. This is Q Talk America.
The following broadcast contains adult humor, language, and topics, along with partial nudity. Actual knowledge is used sparingly. The show is a result of a lost bet and a bad game of rock, paper, scissors. It's the show with Clayton McKee. And now, a man with a face for radio, Clayton McKee.
Good evening, 8 o'clock on the old atomic clock on the wall. This is the show. My name is Clayton McKee, sitting here alongside Aaron Henderson, Marnie Ryer, and Al Perkins. Hang on, what do you need?
Fork.
You need my fork?
Yeah.
Oh, stand by. I can't.
Been a fork issue.
Thank you.
Good Lord, there's a lot going on in the studio right now.
Just give him the whole thing.
But we, Marnie's serving up some sort of a wonderful quiche. Did Aaron make? Who made this?
Marnie did.
Marnie made it. Very good.
Delicious.
It is wonderful.
Yeah.
God, I'm glad you like
It
it.
really is. Whatever. Another one.
And I'm a sucker for quiche. No, I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm good.
Okay.
2 pieces was plenty.
It's all good.
Oh, can you give me
So, like I said, beginning of hour 2, we have 2 more hours to go. And what we do is we kick off each and every second hour with a little thing we call the drinking game.
We dare you to stay awake during this royalty-free music and to play a drinking game with us. If you are currently or soon to be driving a car, you cannot play. If you are presently the primary caregiver for children and or the elderly, you may desperately want to play, but no. If you are listening from a rehab facility, you are disqualified because you already hit bottom. And that means you already won this game at least once. If playing this game is in any way illegal for you, put the bottle down and make better life choices. There is no good in your goodbye, and there is no lifeguard on duty, so you will be swimming at your own risk. Tell your lawyer to take the fucking day off. You can't sue us. We warned you. Good luck.
Ooh, I don't know what that is. But
My
I-
guitar solo.
love the music.
Well, now I'm torn. 'cause-
Oh.
But I'm gonna go with my
Between
original
two
one.
lovers?
Yeah, between two. Feeling
Feel
like
like a fool?
Yeah. 'Cause loving-
Breaking all the rules.
both of you is breaking all the rules.
I love it.
Well, I guess we'll go with since for the aloha state, we'll go with aloha.
Aloha.
It's good, and it can stand for anything. Is the best part about those people.
Really can.
That's true.
I like it. Make it
like
like a
that a
high,
lot.
make a honey home.
My favorite thing about going there with those crazy fuckers is when you go to Oahu, the tourist island. They just will not let you alone. Like every tour you go on, can I get you to say aloha and do this fucking thing with your hand? And I'm like, I am not that kind of tourist. Drive the fucking bus and shut up. Is there an audio tour without this shit? And then you go to Maui, the island with that. They don't care. You can say hello, goodbye, aloha, fuck you. They could care
That
less.
sounds like where we need to go.
It's an island on Valium, and they like
Ooh.
when
And
you
that's where you like to go?
I enjoyed both, but I have to tell you that it was very relaxing to have no one try to teach me their Polynesian phrases because I just don't care. You're just making sounds with a lot of K's. You know what I mean? Let's all just admit this is not a language. It never
Speak
was.
Hebrew, you're just talking a lot of Louise.
Yeah.
You're just getting ready to spit on someone.
Totally.
So I mean, it
Hakalugi.
was the funniest thing when I went to, like you walk down the place with all the boats and they're all for rent. Everyone's got something to sell. If you were in Oahu, every one of those people would be your best friend and offering you a deal. The people in Maui were like, whatever, and they just watch you walk by. Like if you stop and ask, they'll do something, but if not, they could give a rat's ass.
Just don't care.
No one
Sounds like
cares.
that's my island, and you're on the island where people are friendly and talking to strangers. That's yours.
And I had to crack up because I seriously was by myself and I was in such a delightful mood the entire week because no one talked to me and I didn't talk to them.
Isn't that wonderful?
Yeah, it was a great feeling.
I love
What
that.
I liked
what
it a
a
lot.
feeling.
I'm gonna go with you on that. I think that sounds pretty goddamn good as a vacation. Now, before we left hour one, you interjected in the very waning seconds of
hope
that
you
hour.
wrote it down.
Twilight of
you
the
had
hour.
something that you wanted to
She wrote it
interject.
down. I don't know.
So you mentioned about the woman who had Thanksgiving at the restaurant and
Yes.
left a large tip.
Yes.
Have y'all heard about this whole Tips for Jesus business?
Oh, and
There is someone or a group of someones that are going around and leaving just ridiculous tips. Here in Ann Arbor, a $3,000 tip on an $87 tab. And then at a different bar, a $7,000 tip on a $200 bill. And the tips are clearing. Like, this money is clearing, and these people are getting this size
Why
tips.
is
And
Jesus
they,
involved?
They're
Yeah,
right,
seriously.
they write on the tab, Tips for Jesus.
I think they're trying to get away from all the bad press they've gotten for the
Being
people that
dicks?
weren't leaving tips. And then the one tip, the one story
Oh,
turns
the
out was
woman?
fake.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I have
Turns
that
out that
on here.
one, yeah. There's a couple stories that were true, and then hers was fake, but she got a lot of donations.
She got a lot
Mm-hmm.
of donations that she said she'll now donate to the Wounded Warrior Project. But at the same time, has she come out and said, yeah, I did this?
Yeah, she did.
She did, because I
Yeah.
hadn't heard that. I saw an update where she said, well, it wasn't my writing.
Oh, she did confess now?
I didn't
she
hear the
didn't-
chick confess. She
Oh.
said, that wasn't my writing. I don't know.
But they
who
didn't.
did
They
it.
actually did not tip her.
Right. They showed they came up with their receipt and said, this is what we did.
Oh, no, it showed they tipped her.
Yeah,
didn't they?
they showed
yeah, it was
$15.
like, it was like a
They showed a bank
10%
statement and
tip.
everything.
It was
Oh.
20%.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought it was that they didn't tip her and she wrote the part about Jesus to get back at them.
No,
No.
No, like, they left a legitimate
look at-
tip.
This is the picture.
There's a lot of
And
conversation
so
about tips.
This
Oh,
is
okay. Okay, oh, that's good to know.
yeah.
That's good
They
to know.
produced the receipt.
Well,
and
that's good
said,
for them.
Wait a minute, we did not do that.
Right.
Good for them.
But she said that she did not.
Yeah, but
Somebody
And what a
Really?
stupid thing to do when you know that the bank's going to clear it and those people are going to remember the.
And now this is maybe she didn't think it'd be all national like that. But
well, she probably didn't. Also, did you hear the interview with her when she was explaining her way out of that paper bag?
No.
Stammer. I don't know. Uncomfortable. Yeah.
Did she grab her crotch a lot?
I didn't hear. It was just an audio. It was
She
an
did a
audio.
Michael Jackson.
Right.
Aloha.
Big old lesbian. Aloha.
But the way she
Cheers.
stammered and stammered in that interview, it's like I kind of know what happened here, but it's not my writing.
God, that's
yeah.
a snowball
yeah,
right
didn't-
there.
I didn't-
yeah.
yeah.
Well, this Tips for Jesus business to get us off the angry lesbian onto Jesus, which who
Another
knows?
angry lesbian?
Yeah, another angry lesbian.
Yeah.
They write the account where where all this money is coming from says doing the Lord's work one tip at a time. It says the tips range from $500 to $10,000,
Wow.
and the last one.
Why aren't we serving?
No shit. The last one was a
Right.
surprise tip of $5,000 on a $576 bill on November 30th in Washington at a bar.
Wow.
What I like is all these tips from Jesus are happening at bars. So I know that they're drinking, which is,
Wine into water. Wine into
drink
water.
for
That's right,
Jesus.
that's
Drink.
right.
I will
not
drink for
Methodist.
Jesus.
Yeah.
But
Oh, I don't know. I was raised Methodist and I'm a booze but
Oh,
I
me
was
too.
also raised
But
Jewish.
me too. But I told you that story that why my sister's wedding reception couldn't be in the basement of the
Yeah.
church she got married in because we drink. They like
They're
ixnay.
like, no.
Mom's like, no,
Well,
nobody
I'm
from
not-
church is coming.
Oh, there you have it.
I think that's bullshit. I mean, I like the big tips, but calling it tips for Jesus, really?
It says at Tips for Jesus. Check it out at
Well, I mean,
Tips for
if it's
Jesus.
to get you to go to their website or get involved with their thing,
It's
and
working.
Hey, they need a PR campaign. These are people in need
that,
of some PR.
I never thought of that angle, so that's it.
But could you
Because-
imagine like being a server and, being nice
speaking
enough?
of which, I hope to God we're gonna get no pun intended. I hope we're gonna come around to the refreshing new pope here in a few minutes. We're gonna talk about that.
But and the other thing I want to say is like this PR thing. If you've noticed, Walmart commercials are on like 24 hours a day because
Yeah.
they have all the money in the world. every third one
Because they
might
hold
be
all their money from their employees.
right. Exactly. Every third one might be for like a special they're having
product.
or the thing, but all of them now are for like we're not the evil empire. Like, don't hate us anymore. Stop. And
We're
it's-
sending our
I have a
people to school.
401k.
They're
I
going
go to
to
school.
I
I
get
have- right.
promotions, and it's all a bunch of bullshit
I
because
fast
they
forward through that shit.
no, but you have to watch them because I'm like, obviously the campaign is getting to them that people are like,
That's right.
please don't,
Hate them.
please don't shop at these companies that are proven to
Right.
not pay their employees a livable wage. And this fucktard Republican that was on CNN was like, well, people have a choice. If they don't like Walmart, they can go somewhere else. No,
Really?
asshole, go to Middle America and
Right.
take a look around. All the
Right.
small businesses are gone because Walmart drove them out of business. You gave them all the tax breaks in the world. You drove out the small businesses you pretend you're
Yes.
for, and now people have to shop at that goddamn scumhole, and they have no choice.
They have nowhere else to
And
work.
that's the only place to get a job, and they're not making a living wage. They end up on food stamps that you turn down too.
Right.
So you're giving all the money to Sam Walfuck or whatever his name is.
Walton
Hey,
was his
aloha
name.
to that shit.
Aloha.
I couldn't have said it any
I
better.
mean, those people are the scum of the earth. That
Yeah,
family.
I agree.
I can't even imagine the amount of coercion it would take to get me inside that building with those
Nope,
fuckers.
you and me both, my
That is
friend.
the evil empire. And when you have a choice in a big city, please do not go into a Walmart. Go somewhere where they pay their employees. It is slave labor. You might as well go whip somebody.
Well, speaking of scum of the earth, let's transition to the things that
I could kiss you.
Thank you.
let's transition into things that, if left long enough, would actually absorb into the earth. A lovely city called Braintree,
That's a nice
Massachusetts.
segue.
Yeah, well, I had to do anything to get us out of that.
Thank you. Aloha.
Tirade number 1. Please stay tuned.
There'll be more.
Hooray!
Braintree, Massachusetts, which is a lovely name for a city. An apartment condo managers there, dogged by complaints from those who've been experiencing the squishy and smelly sensation of stepping onto a pile of dog do, are turning to DNA testing to identify the culprits of these dogs who don't clean up after their pets.
I love it.
Who takes the
funny.
DNA sample from the pet?
Listen to the fucking story and
Oh, you got an Al yell at. Usually he saves that kind of.
I love you, Al.
you and your goddamn dogs. Listen to this, 'cause this is I'm on board for this. Or what is it? Orwellian? What is that word?
Orwellian.
Orwellian. Yes. Well, in this latest twist of a long-running struggle to keep canine waste off lawns, hallways, elevators, and other common areas of animal-friendly community buildings, DNA monitoring has yielded immediate and dramatic results in this Massachusetts condo community called Devonwood, where maintenance staff previously reported seeing, stepping into, or driving over several piles of dog droppings each week on this 350-acre property. Well, so here's what they did. They had a problem with it, and they figured out that they do DNA testing for so many different things, and I never thought about this, and I'm guessing it happens to every species that defecates somewhere. Your DNA is in that. So what they do is, it's now a part of it's a part of your residency there. If you have an animal, if you ever acquire an animal, the animal is swabbed for a DNA test.
I love it.
That's fantastic.
Swab for a DNA test, because all the owners that came out, and the guy's like, well, I saw your dog crap on the line, you didn't pick it up. The guy's like, prove it.
Not mine.
Not my dog. Well,
right.
now all of a sudden all the dog shit's picked up because everybody's dog gets swabbed when they come onto the property. They have a database of DNA. If dog poop, which has now only been found 3 times since they started doing this, hallelujah or aloha, whatever it is. They ship it off. If there's a if a pile is found, they ship it off to a lab who analyzes it, and if there's a match,
A lab? Like a Labrador?
No.
Yes, a Labrador Retriever analyzes all of it.
it's a
Aloha, he
actually
says.
it's a Knoxville, Tennessee-based BioPet Vet Lab, which specializes in testing DNA from dog poop to identify offending animals. BioPet has beefed up its staff with more scientists to meet the demand, because apparently this is happening all over the country, not just from this one place. So what
And for
happens?
decades.
I live in the ghetto. I'm not worried.
If I don't recall what the story said, if the 3 offenders that it had happened, if they actually found a match or not, but they are then fined $150, which pays the fee for them to ship it off, to get it tested, and get it assessed $100 fine on top of it. But yeah, it amazingly cleared up all the dog poop problems in this country. I think every place that has dog, or, not just any animal that you're going to bring,
Any of God's creatures that
anything-
shit somewhere.
that you're having trouble with them cleaning up after. I think that's fantastic.
Sure.
Number 1 offense is throwing your fucking cigarette somewhere that's not an ashtray.
I hate
Oh,
that.
when I was a smoker, I used to say that the earth is God's ashtray. And so
Yeah.
you could do
You
that.
did? You of all people said that?
I was younger.
Who the fuck
There's
were
a
you?
Chinese
I was
kitten about to
high on-
die.
I was high on nicotine.
Aloha.
Yeah,
I cannot
just gonna-
imagine that is coming out of your tree hugging ass.
I used to say the word
Can you
retard.
believe that shit?
Way to get you out of jail.
I cannot imagine that
all
you
like,
ever did
I was-
anything like that.
When I started smoking, I was 15 years old, and I said that kind of shit then. I'm a lot different now than I was then.
I just am really
So
taken aback by
that's
it.
offense number one that I'm okay with caning or, lynching. But
Canning.
then number
Yeah, canning.
Number two is people that like watch their dog shit and then walk away.
Oh.
And that's the first step to cleaning up New York, was that the mayor ran on cleaning up the
Oh,
dog
that's
poop
right.
on the sidewalks. And I can't remember. I don't think
Which,
it was
by the way,
Dinkins.
so did Harvey Milk.
Right, and I was just gonna say, and the
Yeah.
other one, Miss
Ah.
Harvey Milk, famously was if you find the person that promises to clean up the dog poop in the city, you will win the election because no one cares about the politics.
Right.
They just want to walk down the street at night and not get dog shit on their shoes.
That's right.
And it turns out both candidates won
See?
on the dog poop platform.
So my Rocky
Isn't that funny?
doesn't. My Rocky, named after Rocky Bullwinkle, does not shit on walks.
Nothing up my sleeve.
That's gonna work.
Presto.
He really does not shit on walks, and I don't bring bags for him. I don't think ahead about this. And so a couple weeks ago, we're walking. It's dark out, and Rocky goes onto some man's front yard with the man sitting in his doorway, and Rocky takes shit, and I don't have a bag, and so I look at the guy and I go, "Do you have a plastic bag?" And he didn't see Rocky take the shit. And so I was like, "Do you
she
have a
just
plastic
randomly-
bag?" Right, so complete stranger. "Do you have this?" And he goes, "Yeah, what do you need it for?" And I go, "My dog just pooped on your lawn." He goes, "Every animal in this neighborhood poops on my lawn. Leave it. It's fine."
Oh,
Because my whole neighborhood, there are feral cats everywhere,
Yeah.
and the cats shit everywhere. There's also broken glass in my neighborhood, and I'd like that to be gone
Oh yeah,
because my dogs cut their paws.
When does your house go on the market? Because I think you just need a better neighborhood.
it's coming.
My neighborhood's on its way up. My
No.
neighborhood's on the way up.
Your neighborhood is on the way.
I know.
Yes.
And the broken glass. Which
I
would you
already-
rather,
I-
dog shit or dog paw blood?
You know what we
because
should
of
do?
glass?
We should get a fundraiser, and Marnie can establish this because she can get any pop figure to show up anywhere for no money. We get Annie Lennox to show up and sing that song, "Walking on Broken Glass."
There you go.
And we
I
can
love
raise
it.
money in your neighborhood to clean up that.
actually,
Parenthetically, while avoiding dog shit.
the theme of the fundraiser: watch your step.
Oh,
Nicely played.
that
Nicely
is
played.
good.
Yes, I like it.
All right,
I give you
continue with your
one
headlines
aloha.
now.
Thank you for the one.
And I'll raise you a hallelujah.
Yeah.
Marnie, take it away.
So, the Olympics, Summer Olympics.
Coming, aren't they? No, that's
No,
the winter. I'm sorry.
The
winter's-
winter ones are coming. The Summer Olympics that were.
Oh, Rio, right? Oh, that was.
Oh, yeah.
That
Oh,
was.
yeah.
We have a lovely little gentleman that I do recall.
Me having a big giant crush
A
on.
real giant crush
a little
on.
elf, little Christmas
Yeah.
elf.
Tom Daly.
Diver.
Not to be
extraordinaire.
confused with Tom
Cutie.
DeLay. Totally different.
Totally different.
Oh,
Totally
no.
different.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, just a cutie.
Yeah.
Young kid, 19, came out. And I think to the gay community was not a shock.
No, it was just finally.
To those of us
yeah.
with eyes, I think we
Right,
can
right.
expand the horizon.
These were the same
Just a
people that
bit.
didn't think Elton John or George Michael was gay.
Right.
That is so, or Lance Bass.
Right.
Or
Anderson
Come
Cooper.
on. Oh,
We have a list of
hello.
surprise
AC.
people.
There's a litany of people. Yeah,
He gets
but
cuter. What the fuck?
He
He really
does.
does.
Who?
Jinx.
Anderson Cooper.
Yeah,
Yeah, he does.
He's adorable.
Those steel blue eyes. I'm sorry.
Oh, I
It's
feel
the-
like
it's
I
the
feel like we
it's
should
the
let's all
silver
do a
hair.
Katie June. He's adorbs.
He's
Adorbs.
Adorbs.
Totes adorbs.
He interviewed.
funny.
Totes adorbs.
Yeah.
Topes
He
adorbs.
interviewed the family of the dead people from the train crash.
Ugh.
And I mean, the older kid was speaking very eloquently. The younger kid was trying to keep a brave face, and the mom was just squeezing the hand of the middle child, who was just broke fucking down.
Yeah.
He was head in his lap sobbing, couldn't even look at the camera, and the older son is trying to say something while trying to be like elbowing his brother, like,
Get it together.
please, let's try. And the you could just see the mom. She wasn't let go of that kid. And Anderson Cooper's like, my dad died when I was 10. So I can't even imagine that you guys are sitting here telling the story. And I'm like, comedy. I need a comedy.
Right.
Gotta get a comedy on the
This is
TV now.
This because I've had 2 glasses of wine.
Yeah.
I'm welling up.
Oh, it was,
Yeah.
Oh,
oh my God.
I did
And
not
then I was
see
like,
that.
I'll just go there and blow you under the desk
Right.
for just being a charming human being to
Talk
3
about
small
your
children.
ridiculous. Whoa. Here's your 360.
I'd spin all the way around.
Well played. I like it.
Full world tour.
Yes.
I like it.
I already got red wine on one shirt
So
tonight.
the chairman, Edward Lord of the Amateur Swimming Association, to be one of first.
Wait a minute.
What?
I just realized that the abbreviation for association is ASS, and you said amateur swimming. And then never mind.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay,
Cute.
good.
Cute. For someone to be he's the first British Olympic athlete to come out. Apparently.
And he's a big fucking deal in Britain. Like,
really is.
we just think of him as like someone to stalk and that he's a little cutie pie. But I mean, they did TV specials on him. He was the poster child for the British Olympics. He was on almost all the
Oh, yeah.
billboards. And he was they had
big
TV
deal.
specials about him, and his dad died right for the Olympics. He was the feel good story.
Yep. He
Almost always basically nude. I mean, you can't go wrong with this kid.
Well, there was a
There's
comedic
that.
there was a comedic thing that I saw where they were doing something for the British Comedy Awards, where they're trying to have a meeting to figure out who is going to host something or do something, and like everybody who's a British star winds up being in this conference room. Like Paul McCartney's in it, and then they have George Michael's actually in the car that the guy drives to the thing in, and then Tom Daly sitting at the car. Don't you ever wear clothes?
Yeah.
Going around
That's
this table
cute.
about who's going to host and who's going to host.
I have not seen that. That's
It's very,
cute.
it's very
Because
cute.
they said he's kind of a pedophile's dream because
Yeah, well, that's what we were saying
He's-
during the Olympics. I'm like, boys, seriously?
Well, did you see
'Cause
Buddy
he's-
Early's Facebook post today that
No.
he says, well, since you asked, I think it's creepy that 39-year-old Dustin Lance Black is dating 19-year-old Tom Daly. And if you think I'm being judgmental, I am.
oh, is that who the boyfriend is?
Well, that-
Apparently.
know that.
That goes to my story that says somebody's dating an Oscar winner.
Shut the fuck up. Is that
Sorry.
Sources exclusive tell E! News that Daly has been dating Dustin Lance Black, the 39-year-old writer who has won an Academy Award for his screenplay of Milk, the 2008 biopic about gay rights
Look at
activist
this go full
Harvey
circle.
Milk.
Cat shit.
Yeah,
Rock dog shit.
back in October, Daly and Black were spotted together for the first time grabbing a snack at the Coffee Bean in West Hollywood.
well, he's legal to drink at a
Wow.
coffee bean.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, but I don't
I'm
know.
okay with that.
Whatever.
I gotta tell you, I'm okay. He's international celebrity.
I
He's
know,
been
but
around.
My daddy. I don't
Hey,
know.
his dad just died at 17 years old, who was his entire life finding a father figure somewhere. Not the biggest psychological leap.
No.
That Rorschach's not going to be that hard to read. It's a butterfly fucker.
He is there are some
That ink spells aloha.
the picture that he actually if you go to our Facebook page and you look at
Okay.
because I posted this
my nose bleeding
I posted I don't know
No.
I posted the story which I know how that feels because I actually done an entire show like that because my nose was gonna bleed but if you go to our Facebook page I did post a story about that the E! Online story of them. The picture, the guy, the 39-year-old but that picture of Daly looks adorable.
Is it?
Adorable. And he's got a shirt on.
Lance
so even
Dustin
that.
Black Jr., whatever the hell his name
Yeah.
is, he's a cutie and a very smart guy, and he's on the right page with everything, and a mild child
Well, he's
molester.
writing screenplays and winning Academy
well,
Awards. There's not anything wrong with that.
The thing he went out and he did this on YouTube. He came out on
Right.
YouTube and he was he was nervous about it, but he's like I have something to tell you, kind of thing. And it was I don't know, very sweet kind of how he did it. Not really just out there, no pun intended.
And said he still, he dates girls, but he
Yeah.
has a happy relation. So we're still playing the bisexual card because
We're
he's
still
19.
playing that,
Right.
So
right.
we'll play that for as long as we can for endorsement deals.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
bisexual men are just afraid to say they're gay.
Yeah, it's
yeah.
just one stop
Yeah.
on
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
train ride to Gay Town.
People laugh at me when I say that, but that shit's true.
Yeah, because there's no.
No.
Well, and did you happen to see Aaron Lopez? I rarely read anything Aaron Lopez posts or says.
But thanks for listening.
But he
Aloha.
posted within probably an hour after Daly
Daily.
coming out. I read it specifically because of what the headline was, and here comes the hate, and it was just an entire list of all of the hateful tweets.
And the tweets were
yeah,
horrible.
yeah.
Horrible.
They had this 20 to disgusting. There were
Sons
and
of
there were
bitches.
more.
It was
but
there was a lot more.
there were more, but the tweets that came out,
Horrible.
there were a lot, very much in support.
Yeah, let's just ignore them.
Well, that's just it. Very much in support, but I a long time ago there was something that I read that was the negative spin, and we talked about that. Like, let's just ignore that kind of stuff, and not give it any fire, right?
Yeah.
Not fuel the fire. But there was that whole we kind of all went back and forth about. Well, you kind of need to know
Oh yeah.
that audience and how people act in the craziness. so he had put on Tom Daly had put on his Twitter account, got something I need to say, not been an easy decision to make, hope you can support me. And not everyone was so big on it. You just lost a fan. Go to hell, faggot.
But I like later on in the day he posted, thanks for all your
Thanks for
support.
all your support.
Like
That's
ignoring
exactly it.
all of
Like
them.
Yeah.
ignoring. And there were so many. I can't
Yes.
believe Tom Daly's gay. Some douchebag puts on here. So it turns out that Tom Daly used to be the guy to sit on the white bits in his PE lessons because, again, all from Britain. And they have a picture of what apparently
The bench with the white knobs.
Oh, the no. Oh.
Stupid.
So-
but just
But they
it's
probably
that
feel
kind
really
of-
nice after a warm pool.
Absolutely. So, but that's the kind of stupidity.
Aloha, bench.
a review machine.
And it was interesting when I was trying to think because the using fag or faggot and all of that, we've discussed that before, like how not okay. Is it not that it's different anywhere. I don't mean to sound ignorant, but truly was curious. They use fag over there often, but about a cigarette.
Yeah, it's a different
Right.
word. Yeah.
Totally. But
Because
is
it means
that-
a bunch of sticks. It
Right.
really is a bunch of sticks.
Right.
Well, and then you have like how people so loosely use the word retard here.
I've never met one of those people.
I don't know who they are, but you know that.
I've heard tales.
No, but I mean there are different. You know, we know what it is,
Right.
and then we know how it's used. So is it similar
No.
there? Okay, so
No,
not
it's
at
meant, it's
all.
meant with hate.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
yeah. But I mean, is it like just a free word that they use because they use it so often?
No,
that-
they know what to get to do it.
Differentiate,
And I really
okay.
have to say, because I
Okay.
really do read a lot of the fanboy pages now. Like I really do. Like the first thing after I see a movie is I want, especially a couple of things that I saw this week. I was like, what the fuck did I just watch? So I want to see like other people's opinions.
Yeah.
Mostly I see movies alone. Like, lately I've been seeing movies with other people, but I'll see them alone, and I'm always like, what the fuck was that? So I'll read it, and you can just count. If a thread, as they call it, if a thread in the fanboy pages reaches the sixth one, it's Obama's an N-word. I mean,
right.
it just
That's what it was we were talking about.
right, and
It
it
was the
just
tweets
you can
when
just
Obama
follow
won.
something
Yeah,
down.
that's what it was.
Yeah, but you can just follow any thought down to. Everything basically gets political. Eventually, something will be about something
It's not even
political.
political. It's hateful.
No. But what I'm saying is like the threads follow. If they get
Right.
enough comments, it'll go to I hate you, you hate me, you're an asshole for thinking the movie was about that. You're an asshole because you didn't like the movie. You're probably a Republican. Obama's an N-word. I mean, that really
Right.
is how every single
right.
thread goes. So now if you start off with something that's kind of controversial, you're at like faggot,
Right,
and
right,
I
right.
still can't say that other word, but
Yeah.
N-word. And it's always, I mean, you just wait for it. And I seriously, like, I read through and I just crack up that I'm like, oh my God, we're talking about a movie about a sailor
Yeah.
Right.
in the ocean, and there's no one of any race in this movie, but the N-word is in here,
Sure.
and we're 6
And
comments
we're running with it, right? That's what you were exactly right with that end, the end tweet on this. However, Tom certainly isn't letting the homophobic bigots get him down. But the thing that I love, the one thing that I want to steal from this article was while we've made a huge amount of progress as a community and LGBT individuals, it's important also to remember that not everyone is quite so ecstatic about our political and social gains. These tweets serve as a reminder that this is no time to be complacent with our victories and that there's still a huge amount of work left
And these
to
are
do.
people, it's the anonymity of being online, that these are people that would probably be like, oh, one of my best friends is gay, but then
Yeah.
they go home and
Right.
you can feel the hatred coming through the keyboards. As you're reading them, you're like, we're
How did we get
talking
here?
about Tron.
Right.
Like, how did we get
Tron.
No, but I'm
Aloha.
but you got to go to a fanboy kind of movie. Like you're talking about something nonsensical, and all of a sudden you're at, and I mean the name calling starts. Seriously, if a thread hits 6,
Well,
somebody's
Jesus,
calling somebody
look
else a
at
dickwad.
AZ Central articles. The
Right.
second one down, it's hateful and mean.
Right, CNN articles, and that's
Uh-huh.
because I go through
Any
when
one
I
of
read
them.
a story like that. I go to the bottom beneath the 8 stories that aren't related, and 4 of them are about Kardashians. Because how much money do those 2 cunts have to spend
Well, there's a new
on
one now. There's a
publicity
young one now.
I know, but how much money do
Getting
they?
it on or
Because you have to
something.
pay to get on CNN. Someone is paying someone to get your story on CNN. Like those cunts. So then you go past the 8 Kardashian stories that have nothing to do with the story you just read, and then you get to the hateful comments.
I won't go
and
to
it's
those.
like, yay for me, yay for you. You're a cunt. You know what I mean? Like it's.
I
instant.
refuse to
Yeah.
read those. So this
But
morning
it is
I'm out.
I think it's the anonymity. It honestly is. None of those people would say
I
any
can
of that
hide
stuff
back
out
here
loud. Yeah.
and-
Right. They're not going to ever say it on camera.
The problem is, this morning I'm out on basketball court duty, and the kids are swearing and swearing. I mean, these are middle school students, and they're shit this and fuck that, and I, like
give
when
us
I was in
give
middle
me an
school,
age, just so I remember.
11 to 13.
Okay.
And
No, I just want to fuck
Did
you
they
out.
arrest you for that?
but when I was in middle school, if I said sucks, it was like a bad word. Like I didn't even say sucks.
Yeah, I remember those days.
And then today I'm in a different room this week because we're doing something new. So I'm in a different room, and I had the door propped up on the outside, and it was the beginning of 6th period, and some kid comes out with another kid, and he goes, "You faggot," super loud. And and I'm the person on campus people send students to if they use gay or retarded. I'm the one that they send students to kind of put them in check.
who can
a
we
little
send?
bit.
Can we send them to you too if they just sit in here?
Feel free, because I start
Al?
with pick another word, and
Go
then
to
what
dinner
do
with
you
Eric.
really mean?
Yeah.
What word do you really mean? Aren't you
Aloha.
smarter than that word?
And Doug and I finally, we admitted it at dinner the other night that we
Yeah.
both still say, "Oh, that's so gay."
Yeah.
Or like
A lot of
the time
people
that
do.
somebody called something queer and the entire room went quiet as everybody looked at me, and I'm like, "Oh no, that is queer. You're that
But
is
isn't
exactly
it,
the right
isn't it
word."
the same things on the basketball court? And I don't
Right.
mean to be. That's where I was this morning. Was on the basketball court. Was black kids calling each other the N word? And it's like you saying that's so gay, right? But if you say it, it's not. I don't know. I don't.
So
like
how
the
did you
other-
resolve? How did you resolve this child with the
I
F
went
word?
out and I talked to them, and I did my normal.
Did you
spiel
startle
with
the shit
them.
out of him?
Oh yeah, I like to scare them really
How?
bad.
Well,
at
like,
first.
explain this to me.
Well, it usually
You're not giving away an
it
industry
usually
secret
starts,
here.
No, because nobody else has the balls to do it in my school. They all send them to me. It starts with like a mean, like, what did you just say? You know, and I'm very scary at school.
Probably still looking up to these boys. What did you say?
Oh my god, totally. Oh,
Yeah.
by 6th grade, I'm looking up to him. But then I talked to him about. Typically, I pull some sort of not race into it, but what if I used your hair color? What if I used the shirt you're wearing, whatever, and said, oh, that's so brown hair, whatever. But for this one, I said how offensive it was and what it really meant, because faggot, you think this person's just a pile of sticks? Really? Well, that's intelligent. I'm glad you're smart enough to go to this school. I sometimes
Yeah.
insult their intelligence a little bit, but if they use gay or retarded, what word do you really mean?
Yeah.
Are you really not smart enough to figure out a word that you mean? Because I think you're smart enough to pick a word that makes sense here.
Right, and a really good friend of mine, and I don't have to say my friend's mom because I'm very good friends with her too. But she said the one day, because she does not like swearing, and she knows that I just get the biggest giggle out of fuck. And she's like, "You're so smart. Isn't there a better word?" I'm like, "No, sometimes that is the right word.
It's a fun word.
I don't know how to
Aloha.
tell you this, but sometimes fuck puts the right emphasis.
It's so multi-purpose.
But you're
Really,
instantly
it's every part of speech.
You're
Right.
instantly on board with what I'm talking about if I give you a fuck Walmart. You know what I mean?
Sure.
You know what I mean? And if I break out, because the C word's one, the cunt word's one I don't like. That's
Really?
I'm-
And you've
I'm-
used it how many times
But
here?
I'm way more offended by cunt than I am
Yeah,
retarded.
he said that
Wow.
since the beginning.
I
Well, that's
do
funny
not-
because I say cunt all the time.
Outside of this show, I never say that word. I don't
Well,
like that word
I don't.
at all.
No, I only use it in an example if somebody says, because
Talking about me?
No,
Yeah.
somebody came up to
Oh,
me
that
last.
cunt.
Somebody came up to me last night and they're like, "Well, they're like, I hear you have a radio show," and I'm like, "Well, yeah, we do it every week." And he literally says to me, and I told him to listen, and I said, "And if you're listening right now, you know who I'm talking about."
Hello?
He said, "Well, I'm a financial advisor with da 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 da, and I'd really like to come on." I'm like, "Oh, you don't understand." Like, we don't do real guests. And he goes, "Well, what do you mean?" I'm like, "We sit around and drink for 3 hours and call people cunts like Brewer." And he's like, "Oh."
Oh,
And I'm
yeah.
like, I said, "I'll make you a deal." I said, "You listen to 3 entire shows, and you then tell me if
And then you tell me where you want to fit in.
right, exactly what I said."
Maybe as a market in Columbia.
Or use your mathematical skills to add up how many times we say the word.
Yeah,
Or fuck.
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
But I'm like, no offense to you, but I'm like, we aren't that show. We're not like an interview, feel good, Good Morning Arizona. No.
Yeah, no.
No, we're
Past your
Even if I
bedtime,
was
Arizona.
doing a Good Morning Arizona, it would be fuck you at the end. You know what I mean?
Right.
All right, morning's over.
morning.
Fuck you.
Especially if it's good morning. Fuck
Right.
that.
Morning's different to the two of you than the rest of the world.
That's very
yeah. Did you have
That's
any more?
true.
Anything else
Sorry,
on
I
that
don't mean to
story?
get off track.
The only thing concerning Tom Daly that I thought was really cool was that his grandparents came out
Two?
Oh my God, everybody's
Oh,
gay.
That was-
Jesus.
See, it's not. It's the accent in
That
British.
was a hell of a pause right
It's
there.
gotta be
I
the
mean,
chips,
my bad.
yeah.
I went to.
It's in the chips.
Oh, good. The fish and the
The
chips.
fish and the chips.
Yeah.
Aloha.
Well, the chips for the men.
So they came out and so they came out and
They
support.
came out in support, and it
Perfect.
was very. It was
good.
very. We've always supported him, and we always
They
will.
probably paid for most of his
Says
diving
it-
lessons.
Says
Right.
we're not old-fashioned. In fact, we're quite liberal. But I do think he's too young to be making this sort of decision.
Or dating a 39-year-old.
Right?
Right,
probably
that's
their
maybe the
age.
decision
Well,
that we're
and,
talking
and it
about.
says, you know,
His
we
grandparents are older
asked
than
him,
40.
Barely.
Barely. We asked him if he was absolutely sure. He's our first grandson from our son who passed away.
Say, wait a minute.
And, you know.
have a penis. I have a penis. That makes you gay. That's what Shelley. Remember Shelley Trujillo did that?
Oh my God.
What the fuck? Can you
On
repeat
I
that?
Springer.
have not seen her in forever.
I'll tell you the story in a little bit. Yeah.
You have a penis, I have a Venus?
No. It's a long story. I'll tell you.
All right, sorry.
So anyway, it said, but we hugged him. We thanked him for coming to see us, and then we'll be seeing him over Christmas. They just kind of.
They should-
That's one of those
kids
kids that absolutely melt your heart. He's the cutest fucking
Yes.
thing on. He's practically a Christmas elf.
Yeah.
They should
What
probably
you're gonna be mad
contact.
at him for like 20 minutes. You'll be like, "Oh, you're so cute. I can't stay mad at
come
you.
here,
Come
lights.
here."
Where's those
Exactly.
cheeks?
Can I hug
Yeah.
your half nude body
Yeah,
again?
Okay, if his grandparents are saying that, so let's
They
do it.
should probably contact Cher
They
and see
probably
how
never
she
seen him with
feels
clothes
about
on.
Yeah.
how she feels about being told last that her daughter was gay or transgender or whatever she was.
Who?
I said
Huh?
Tom Daly's grandparents should probably call Cher. See how
Oh.
how did she handle being
Could
the
be
last
worse.
to know?
Yeah, he might want to chop
Yeah.
it off.
Yeah,
Oh dear God, Tom, don't.
And wear those goddamn Sansa belts.
Yeah.
that's right.
Yeah.
No Sans
No
belts.
Sans belts.
Poor
Please,
Chaz
please,
Bell.
God knows.
I didn't even know what that meant until Dancing with the Stars with Chaz Bono.
on the same vein no pun intended, of the story of Tom Daly,
Yeah.
another person who has been openly out and a public figure and has been a champion for lack of a better word for being a great on-air personality and an asset to Good Morning America.
Oh yeah, I don't know his name.
Sam Champion, who has been the Good Morning America meteorologist for many, many years. And when he left to get married to his partner, everybody on the acknowledged it. It was all wonderful and good. Good Morning America is such a fun show. I mean, I've always been a Today Show person.
They
but
treat cancer so lightheartedly. I adore them.
GMA is just a great. They're fun and everything's going on in that story. Well, Sam Champion
Roberts.
has made the decision.
yeah.
He was given a what he calls an opportunity of a lifetime. He is moving on to the Weather Channel to be the face and voice of the Weather Channel, and I guess we'll be doing some sort of a daily show on there.
He's sandwiched betwixt Al Rokers. Aloha.
So
Aloha.
he's so Sam Champion, an openly gay
Does
married.
the Al Roker bread have gluten?
Yeah, probably.
I don't know.
Okay.
So I just thought it was kind of cool that Sam Champion's
is
moving on doing
really
something very
cool.
cool. And again, I think tomorrow, maybe I'm wrong, but I think tomorrow is his big send off from GMA. They're doing it. So, but I just thought it was very cool that
And
he's.
in retrospect, like their handling of his gay wedding, talk about like just throwing it out there and being like, "Fuck you, we don't care," because now the Thanksgiving Day parade got all the flack for doing kinky boots
Right.
in the
they did,
morning,
yeah.
and Macy's was like, "Fuck you, we are not going to piss off gays. We're Macy's."
Right. We know.
We got
Fuck
our
is wrong with
priorities.
you?
We
Yeah,
are
right,
Macy's
right.
in Lower Manhattan. Guess who we're like? Come on,
Right.
Yeah.
This is going to work.
We're surrounded by Jewish people throwing a Christmas parade.
So we're not offending Jews or
Yeah.
gays. Either
here's,
way.
Here's who we're not offending. So they did this big campaign, and but GMA was so funny. They were just like,
Oh, by the way,
last weekend, Sam Champion went off and got married. And they showed the pictures. There was nothing like a coming out. He had no big event.
Yeah,
His coming
boom.
out was,
It just
and
was
I'm
that.
married. And then he did a talk show tour of ABC because he went on The View.
The View. I saw The View.
And The View was like, oh, you got married last weekend. Here's your pictures.
Boom.
There was no, it was like, seriously,
What made you come out?
we're not
What
going
made
to.
you-
I know.
It was like, you got married. Congratulations. They completely played it. ABC that whole day just played that off perfectly. And I know
it.
there was all the hateful faggot comments in the bottom
Oh,
of the
I know. I'm
of
sure
the
there were as
fanboy
well.
page.
I'll never watch
But
Good Morning
they-
America again. I'm
Yeah.
sure there was all that as
Fine.
well.
They
They
don't want you
stayed
anyway.
so above board, and then they got to be number one in the ratings, and now they're worried because they've been number one for a short time now. After 20 years of the Today Show being number one, GMA passed them last summer for the first time. Some say it's the Ann Curry thing.
I think
a
it's
lot
deserved.
Of people's, I
It's
love-
just
it's the
they're
chemistry of those
wonderful.
people.
They're rapid fire and they're funny.
But
Yeah.
they're worried now that people have fallen in love with this set
Mm-hmm.
of people who've all they've done other things to build up their credibility. Lara Spencer, is that her name?
the entertainment gal.
Yeah, she
She's
was
funny.
on. She was
Oh,
on
yeah.
E! She was on Kathy
Yeah.
Griffith's show because she's a closet decorator on the
Oh.
cheap, and she
I
likes,
remember that.
So she goes on stuff. Sam Champion was. They all had these extra projects that were bringing people in to make the number
to
one.
watch them. Got it.
So now they're worried that
Sorry.
what will happen to GMA.
They're replacing him with a woman who I guess she's been a fill-in
Same thing.
on ABC for quite some time. But to the point that you're making, it would probably behoove them to bring another guy into that
Yeah.
position to just kind of keep that theme going. But that whole thing with Robin Roberts and the battle and everything,
Another
and then
thing,
bringing her back.
handled to perfection.
Well,
Beautifully.
it couldn't have been better. Couldn't have been better. I mean, it could have been better. She never would have had
Had
it.
cancer, right.
But
Yeah.
for a delicate topic that they've got in a woman who's on the brink of death and going through everything she went to.
And then her
And
mom
mom
passed
dies?
away.
Oh,
Right,
my
during
God.
Mom Passed Away.
Oh,
And then
Lord.
she was on the ESPY Awards when
Yeah.
and she was given that big the Arthur Ashe
Arthur
Lifetime
Ashe, that's
Achievement
right.
or whatever the hell
That's
that's called. Yeah, it was amazing. But yeah, but I think them being number one in the ratings is deserved because they are fun. I forget for what reason it was, and I hadn't seen GMA I think since Joan London and David Hartman had done it back
Oh
in the
my
80s.
God, I
How
love.
old are
oh my God,
you?
but I'm with you. I used to
Right.
watch it all the time.
So that's
Wait till I'm in my
Whether my
mid-40s.
partner's here or not, that's because Joan London then was hot.
I think she's exactly.
Oh, that doesn't bother me.
she's
You
a-
talk about
she's-
Mariska Hargitay, I'm going to turn Miss Piggy on your ass. But
Okay, Frog, I'm gonna kick your ass.
here.
No, so no, what do
That
you
was
mean?
the funniest post, by
Joan
the way.
London
Fucking for real.
I just thought she was.
She still
beautiful.
is. She's
She-
still
and she is a beautiful
lovely.
woman.
still
Yeah.
sounds and looks the
Yep.
exact same.
Yep.
But anyway, I hadn't seen GMA in a long time, and since I worked at an NBC affiliate, I've always been a kind of a Today Show person. I think CBS This Morning is horrid.
Yeah,
no matter
it really
if Gail
is
King
bad.
is
As far
in it
as
or
I'm
not.
concerned,
Wait,
CBS
which one
God.
is Julie Chen on?
That's the
CBS.
The
She's
talk.
Because I love Julie Chen.
That's on the
No,
talk.
that's
Yeah.
But I
on the
love her on
talk.
Big Brother.
And isn't it?
Hi, Julie.
I would rather have a lobotomy than watch that fucking show.
Oh, y'all can watch
But,
TV during the day, though. See, some
But
of
you
us
can,
don't get to watch any of these
It's called
shows
a DVR.
ever.
Trust.
Real bad.
Mine's full with housewives.
Charge somebody. Well, get another
Again,
one.
I'd rather have a
But
lobotomy.
again,
And Lady
I-
Gaga.
doing
with her
Same
fucking
surgical
crazy
procedure.
eyes.
Same
doing
threat.
a channel surf, and I just jumped over to GMA to see what was going on.
What the hell are you doing up at that hour?
I don't know what. I don't know. The point of this is, I jumped on there.
Aloha.
I saw it. I'm like,
Drink up.
it was just so much fun. It was just, everything was happening, and and
Yeah.
they jumped to entertainment. They go to news. They do this. It was
And they
just
all
a
seem
good
to
time.
really get along.
A good time.
They are fake it very well. Either
and
way.
Yeah.
and you can see the ABC HD in their Good Morning America set.
You can find every dollar
Every
on ABC.
dollar.
I say that all the time. Whether you're watching Once Upon a Time or Revenge or Nashville or Ugly Betty, you can find every dollar they spent. Those people spend some fucking money.
Yes.
And they're broke. Well, they're Disney, so
Right.
doesn't matter what they do.
Which I
Disney
thought
makes
was
a
even
fortune.
funny. So because then the View goes to Disney
Every
last
time
week.
they can. They cross promote Disney.
No, I know they
like
do.
whores.
Because my friend Michael that works there,
'Cause they are.
did the personal tour with she changes hair every day.
Sherry Shepherd.
Sherry Shepherd. 3 or 4 weeks
was going
before
with Lady
they
Gaga.
went out there, she flew out to do her tour where she won around thing and he did it for her. So he's like, watch The View in 4 weeks. I'm going to be on. I'm with Sherry Shepherd. Blah, blah, blah. I actually didn't see his segment, but I saw the one because I almost said Streisand. Wow. Barbara Walters has never been to Disneyland until this time. Of
Oh, yeah, this last
how
trip.
wild is
She'd
that?
never been. So Kurt Russell walked her all over Disney because he's been there.
Oh, and
billion.
it's good to give her
Fantastic.
It's give her to something that she
Yeah.
taps it with. You know what I
Oh,
mean? You know she
absolutely.
looks at Kurt Russell pictures
Like,
while she's
oh yeah,
whacking
batting
it.
her eye.
Well, she plays whack-a-mole.
Rabbit.
I don't know that I ever want to think about Barbara Walters playing whack-a-mole.
And most of the time it's
Aloha.
over women. I mean, Joy Behar always made the joke she was a closet dyke. And it's the truth because she was always she hit on every member of Desperate Housewives. Every cast member. She especially loved the redhead, Crazy from Melrose Place. Crazy Pants. Can't think of her name. Fabulous actress. But anyways, and then the one day...
Fabulous. Love her. Don't know her name.
the little short one from Saturday Night Live. She was Debbie Downer. She, never
Oh,
thought of her as
God.
pretty.
No.
Jesus, Sherry.
Nope.
No.
And she's who the
This
30
is not a
Rock.
fun game
she
for
was
me
supposed to be
right
the
now.
star of 30 Rock, but the network didn't think she was pretty, so they substituted.
Tina Fey.
Jesus Christ! I
No,
need
the
to stop
blonde.
drinking.
I can't think of anybody's name.
Jenny
Poehler?
Krakowski?
No.
Jenna.
Yes, that
Jenna.
one.
Yes,
No,
Yeah.
they,
30
they
Rock.
The one that
changed Jenna
sings.
Krakowski with
Yes.
her, right?
Right, they changed her. They wanted someone pretty because they thought that, and I can't think of her name. She was Debbie Downer, but they didn't want her, so
I'm
she
looking at-
came on The View. Wah, wah. And Barbara Walters like leaned across, and she's like, "I don't know why you get so much flack for being so unattractive. You have the most beautiful décolletage." And she's like stroking her right here, and she's like, "Wait a minute." First off, I don't know what that word means, and why are you touching
French.
my boobs?
It's
European.
European.
It's
Aloha.
European. It was one of the funniest moments. And Joy Behar's like, I told you she's a lesbian. Like, I have told you time and
Wow.
again. But she seriously leaned across and stroked her. Why can't I think of her name?
I'm looking it up and it's fucking not. Everything's Debbie Downer, Debbie Downer, Debbie
And
Downer.
it doesn't say her name?
Did you ever watch the one with Lindsay Lohan? And
Yes.
When they fucking
all the time when
hilarious.
they're at Disneyland.
When I taught theater, I'd show that every time for what it looks like when you break up.
Before Marnie goes to her next story, I want to say hello to Thailand and Germany also
Hello.
listening. Thank you for
Aliman.
being there, everybody. Marnie, go ahead.
I love it. So there is a vaccine for alcoholism.
Don't want it.
Aloha.
Don't need it.
You can opt out.
We have.
Yeah. Clearly.
I have another sip of my beverage.
So what it would do is it would send alcoholics, drinkers as it were,
Yeah.
to an immediate hangover. I was intrigued by this.
But wait a minute. That just
wait,
get you to
wait.
hair of the dog and
There's-
you want to drink more
I
to
know.
feel better.
I know 2 drugs
I'll
that
have
already.
a Bloody Mary.
Rachel Dratch.
Rachel Dratch. Thank God.
Sorry.
I would have never.
There's one called Antabuse, which
Yes, yeah, absolutely.
Antabuse if alcohol gets in your system you throw up, and then Flagyl is the other drug that mimics Antabuse. So if you're on Flagyl for any reason,
Okay.
and yes,
Why are you pointing at us that we
'Cause
would be on Flagyl?
you'll figure it out in a minute.
Menopause?
No, but
Lesbians?
It mimics
The shot?
Antabuse, and you'll throw up right away.
What?
I will
Why do
text
I
you.
have to quit drinking?
Give it.
No, I'm just telling you. I'm just letting you know.
Herpes? Got it.
So there's your vaccine.
Wow. Got it. Okay, so
It's actually
kidding.
it's
You don't
in
know what's in
Santiago,
herpes.
Chile, and it's slated to begin
Chile.
their right.
different chili.
Right.
Sorry.
Clinical trials of the world's first alcoholism vaccine. So it's a little bit different because that's a medication kind of ish thing. It would work by speeding up the hangover process to make drinkers feel like crap immediately after taking a swig, quickly experiencing
giant fuck
splitting
you from me.
headaches and nausea. Immediate non-gratification, people. So the thinking behind it that alcoholics will start to associate drinking, even just one sip, with its miserable side effects instead of like fun, going out and being able to have fun and have a couple cocktails. Although the vaccine could be helpful for some, not everyone feels it would address the root of the problem. Really?
Yeah.
No, yeah, you're just putting a band-aid on a broken arm. You're not really
Absolutely.
dealing with the issue here.
As
Oh,
one,
oh.
oh. As
It's a
one
fun sound.
anonymous,
Haven't changed that, and it's still annoying.
Well,
that's
I
what
can
I
teach
used
you.
to have for you. That was too much. As one anonymous
I don't know how to
recovering
take
alcoholic told the Santiago, a person needs to confront themselves. So it's that whole idea that you have to be able to admit. Admitting is the first step.
Right.
You
Is
know?
that like when I eat a whole bag of Doritos, I throw up sometimes?
Right.
Similar.
No, that's not
problem
the
is
same.
still eat
That's not the
Doritos.
same at all.
Vaccine.
So I still eat Doritos, but
You're gonna hurl after your first bite into a Dorito.
okay, but you'll give me a vaccine, but I'll still want Doritos.
You're gonna want Doritos a lot, but every time you go
Still
to
try to eat 'em.
eat a Dorito, you're gonna be like, "Bleh,"
Yeah, well,
like that. Similar, and they're
punish myself
taking
often.
on the other hand in Amsterdam they have a new and innovative way. Some people are saying controversial, but taking alcoholics, being on that rant, and they're gonna pay them to keep the streets clean. I like that idea.
So in other words, you just keep them occupied. They won't drink,
well, you sweep
you're
up the
gonna be
broken bottles
paying
that
them
you.
with beer.
and they can buy Thunderbird.
Oh, so we'll give you.
Oh.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, they're bartering.
Yeah.
Oh.
For the people that would be in the park drinking,
I
making
bet
a
I have people in my
mess.
neighborhood that will do that for me.
Exactly. Fuck Amsterdam. My thought is
Dog shit, broken glass. I'll give you a
Aloha,
can of Bud
Amsterdam.
Light.
clean up the
Coors Light
canal.
for the lesbians.
You give that
Done.
homeless person some money that lives in the canal at 7th Street behind Roscoe's.
Mm-hmm.
You give him a pool skimmer, and you let him go down that canal, and
There
you
you go.
pay him and tell him to let him live somewhere, and he gets to pool skim the
That's
canal every fucking
Done.
day of all that trash.
How do we make this work with
But
stray
they
dogs
have
in my
pools. They
neighborhood?
have skimmers built into the canal.
Well, they're not working
they're
because
not
they're
working.
filthy. They're those things.
No. The shopping carts
saw
and televisions
something
are at the bottom of
floating
it.
in
But
the
I mean, if you
canal
go,
today.
you know very well, right there on
Right, and
7th
they're
Avenue.
filled and filled with cups. I've never seen
Right,
that
but
clean.
I don't know why SRP doesn't go out and fix that. But you're right. But you're right. But that's
Pay the
that's a
homeless
skimmer.
person, give them a little bit of money. They have to pay taxes.
Think of the
like
recycles.
taxes.
Oh, absolutely.
We get
And
a
you
clean
could
canal.
take it
They
in.
get a job. Everybody
Yeah.
gets a little
And
pride.
everybody knows how good a clean canal is.
Oh,
Whoa! Unintentional.
I like it.
I recommend it. Whether
I
you
feel
use
clean
saline
inside
coffee
now.
or just warm water, please clean your canal.
Please,
Seriously,
please.
how do I make that happen with stray
I'll
dogs?
stop with the dog.
Please
Each
clean your
day,
canal.
We'll have to figure that out later. It's a different show.
Okay.
Each worker would get about $13. They'd get half a pack of rolling tobacco and 5 beers.
Perfect.
A day?
Done.
How? What's the time
Well, the
frame?
cash plays for the hooker. And they get tobacco and alcohol to do afterwards.
Chronic
Yeah, or
alcoholics.
before to get
It's
themselves
chronic
ready.
alcoholics that they're hand picking, I suppose.
No, and again, where is this? I'm sorry.
Amsterdam.
So you know they're stoned.
You
So
guys
we
got
could,
caught
yeah, that's
there.
true.
They're causing the ones that are causing a nuisance in the park, and they're saying, hey, there are fights, there's noise, all kinds of things going on. So they're saying, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna give you this, and it's They give them beer at, like, say, in the morning. Of these 5 beers, here are 2 beers. And then they clean, and then they get...
It's almost like giving them a Red Bull. Like they take 2 Red Bulls and they go clean
Whatever
and clean.
Whatever gets you through it.
No, I understand that,
Yeah.
but I'm just trying to read it,
Right.
equate it to
Right.
you slip somebody a Red Bull, like clean the next half mile.
That's right,
And then you get another one.
Have one
Right.
down here.
Do you
like,
think? Do you think I can give my Gaber estrogen tabs because he's transitioning? If he like cleans the street, can I give him?
Wait,
like, an
wait.
Ooh, that's
estrogen
very
tab?
Orange is the New Black.
Is that the neighbor with all that shit in their yard? All that
No,
It's-
that's
no,
to the
I
left.
hate
My
that one.
Gaber's to the right, and he's transitioning. But
Time out. To the right when you're walking out her door.
yeah, when you walk out my house, the left
When
is
you're
the
looking
trash
at
house.
the house?
The right is the Gaber's.
Trash house.
I'm
on
so
the right.
glad that my trash dumpster, Chico and the Man people are
south.
gone.
House
Oh,
south.
I love how
Oh,
but
they
like
just needed to
like
mow.
across the street, I have Hulk and the Yippers.
That's
That's
the,
the
like the
dogs that
hippie
live
guy.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm talking about the hippie guy.
Oh, Abraham.
Oh, that's 2 to the right. He showed me his lemon tree the other day. He's huge lemons.
I love a metaphor.
Boy, you got some big lemons.
Just one twig, 2 lemons. It's a tree, ladies and gentlemen.
We thought it was a weed, but no,
Nope.
sir.
Turns out that's
Keep
a full-on
growing.
citrus.
Just
bigger than a bush.
Just
He said
keep
aloha.
Oh,
Hello. Aloha.
Well-
Anyway, so, but I thought, what a good idea. Keep
It
some,
is,
keep some
and why
occupied.
can't we do
And
that
that's what I
here?
say to employ these people. There's all this, like, all these places are filthy. Give them some cash.
Sure.
Give them what they need.
Yeah, but do you remember there was a huge fucking thing, huge blow up in Wisconsin years ago when the governor came out and said, okay, and some people get all shades of pissy about this, but I'm going to say that I did not disagree with what they did at all. It was one of those things where, get a job. Try to get any job that you can for welfare. Okay, as far as getting any kind of assistance. And I speak from having gotten assistance in the past. So when people who haven't ever had to do that speak, they really need to fucking think it because they don't know. And the idea of getting a job is something that you want to find something. I mean, you'll do anything. And let me rephrase. Some people will. Right? Some people will.
So what was
Other people won't.
what was the program that they
In Wisconsin, it was, people would say, well, I can't get a job. I can't. And they were belligerent about it, but they certainly wanted the assistance.
Right.
Give me the handout. And I say that in that way
Okay.
because they refused to go look for any kind of work. So the governor said, okay, well, there are parks all over town, full circle with what we talked about earlier, that need people to pick up dog poop. And they were pissed. It was on 2020.
It's below me.
It's below me. It
It's a
is
job.
this.
But if
it's-
you're homeless,
it's
I
work.
don't see.
No. This wasn't about homelessness.
It's almost like cleaning up your own
Well,
living room.
And
This
that's-
was
I'm-
not about homelessness.
And I'm willing to exchange homeless for like sex offenders. Like take the sex offenders and don't put them in pink jumpsuits and make them sleep in tents. Make them come to my neighborhood and clean up.
Oh, I completely agree. Like it doesn't matter, and I'm not trying to compare at all. And I know that you're not prisoners with welfare
no.
recipients in that kind of way. But this wasn't about homelessness.
I mean people that are so off the
Right.
grid. I don't mean
Right.
welfare recipients because a lot of times
Sure.
they give those. Especially they give the women low paying. They work at fucking Walmart, the scum of the earth. They work at Walmart.
But if that's
and
what
then
you
they can't
can do, and you can
but they
get
can't
some
aff-
kind of money,
But then they can't afford the child care for the person that has
Right?
to babysit their kid while they're working. So you end up in the hole.
Absolutely.
I know someone who's a
Absolutely.
nurse who cannot afford the child
can believe
care
that.
as a nurse to pay for 3 days
it's
of working.
amazing.
Sickening.
Like ends
It's
up in the hole for how much
know.
child care costs.
And all of
If
that.
you don't have the village, you're fucked.
You're right.
Don't confuse it being in the hole with a clean canal. Totally
Right.
different
no,
topic.
Totally
separate.
different.
Aloha.
Yes.
Anyway, but without being too.
Yeah, I mean it's interesting stuff. It crosses that border
and
of
it's a
like
domino.
ultra liberal and very conservative,
Right.
like pull yourself up by your bootstraps.
Right.
People need help. It's a very fine line. It's an interesting
And
conversation.
my
that's
deal
cutting into my
is-
entertainment time.
My deal is truly
And my
truly
sports and stuff.
And mine is right in the middle. Like where
Yeah.
I stand on it is
I do
just
too.
don't ever look up and say that you won't do that because it's not. I'm not going to do that job.
Oh, yeah.
What?
I've
Get your ass out there.
I
and pick
fried
up that dog
tacos
shit.
at Taco Bell, and I've
Correct.
worked at McDonald's at the
Absolutely.
counter. Actually, I wasn't even pretty enough to work in the counter. I had to work in the
stop
back at McDonald's when I was a teenager.
You weren't wearing the right wig, I'm
or
sure.
18 or
That's what it
19. Like
was.
I've had the lowest.
I do this shit and not get paid for it. Like I go
Right.
to the end of my street. Okay, I've always had a thing about.
But that's a hobby of yours. There's a difference.
well, no, I understand that, but I'm like,
Nothing's beneath somebody though. Go out and fucking do it.
I see weeds growing in the gutter up there where when it does rain, because when it rains in Arizona, typically it's a gully washer and fucking water's everywhere.
It's a what?
a gully washer.
Gully washer.
So
that's how you get a clean canal. Please use your gully washer correctly.
Aloha!
Just squirt your gully washer right up there.
You leave my gully washer out of
Oh,
there.
high colonic.
Oh, terrific.
I mean, I go.
And a squirt of coffee.
I clean. I clean the gutters. I mow grass up around there. I do things in the neighborhood just because.
Can you come to my neighborhood?
Actually, and one of the things that drives me nuts, because he and I've ridden through it 100 times, over the canal where you've got the bridge that crosses the canal, 3rd Avenue.
right.
I go and cut those trees all the time because I don't want to ride through. First of all, I don't want to ride through and hit my face with a tree branch.
Yeah.
Number two, I know that there's a lot of dark areas around there, so I try to keep the trees all cleaned up just because I don't want to drive right through there and some fucktard sitting there with a gun or a bottle or whatever. So I want to be able to see everything.
Well,
I
and
just
you
look
know
for
what
safety.
it takes to get someone out there to actually do that.
Right, and I also got
Right.
the entire donor network, the building that's right there. I got Ryan Nelson and the donor network to clean the entire
Love it.
canal all along that fence because it was all dark and you couldn't see through it. They cleaned all that out.
Yeah.
Ma'am, you have the floor, Aaron Hernandez.
Thank
Ernie
you.
Hernandez.
Ernie Hernandez.
I love you and Chico and the Man.
Yes, well, thank you.
Murderer.
Was it
Aaron Hernandez.
So
Oh, fuck. My bad.
Wow, did we get there?
Different spelling.
Aaron Henderson also. Oh, sports and stuff. That was my other story.
Oh my God.
Okay.
We'll get
Anyway,
there.
Makes me kind of
so-
want to fuck you while you kill me.
I don't know what's
Well,
happening
this
right
is
now.
very
Al.
awkward.
He is hot.
Yeah.
I was just gonna say this.
Very awkward indeed.
But I appreciate the fact that you said that and you reminded me of that because as I walk my dogs, I'm constantly in my head or out loud to myself bitching about my fucking glass everywhere and fucking. I can get my fat lazy ass up and I can go fix those problems in my neighborhood. And thank you for reminding me of that.
But you know what you can also
and you
do?
know what? That applies to my whole life.
And I don't know-
Can I bitch about it or can I fix it?
And I don't know
you're
what
right.
Oh.
I don't know what the
I'm gonna give you
situation
an
is.
aloha on
I
that
don't know
one.
what the situation is in your neighborhood, but I was wonderfully 12 years ago. I moved into a neighborhood that was active and is still very active in a neighborhood association. It's not an HOA. It
Mine
is-
too. The
it's-
Green Gables. We have
Okay.
meetings once a month.
You have meetings
And
At a
go.
church.
You
And
go
go.
and you get city grants and you get flashlights and you get all kinds. You get signage that says
There's
no
like a
dumping and you get a
$10,000
block watch. You do
grant
all
for,
that
yeah,
shit.
block
Yes,
watch.
all that shit. You can get all that, and that's what has happened here. We get they hand out mailboxes and porch lights that are on electric eyes and timers, and we get all of this stuff, like the speed humps that are here.
Right.
Yeah.
All of that stuff is all done by grants because people get pissed off because
Right.
people cut through and they drive and they have the dog thing.
And I can say that, oh, I'm too busy. When do I have time? Or I can get off my ass and I can help be part of the solution. So
That's
thank
it.
you
Right.
for
You're very
reminding
welcome.
me.
Yes.
Aloha.
Very,
Aloha.
very important. And I've
Yes.
noted and the green grass because we're just going to kill the
Sorry,
rest of this hour.
headlines,
But,
headlines.
I have one
like-
more little story, but we're gonna wrap it up.
but
I
as
love you, honey.
Love you.
well, I love you too.
not sure I love
But
you.
as my Gabers and I keep escalating the we've both hired people because we're gays. So we've
too.
both hired
Her
people
too.
to make our lawns look very nice. And now the house that's on the corner, my house, the Gabers, and then this older lady who's very nosy. She doesn't seem to be able to stop crying, but she's very nosy about everything else.
It's me.
She sits
Always
there.
calling my precinct.
Yeah, I would.
Somebody picking through my trash again.
No,
Go get him.
Absolutely, call the
Yeah.
cops.
I do.
So as she's been watching, and now the house on the other side of me is cleaned up. 2 houses
Yeah.
to the east of me have been remodeled. She's all excited because she's like, I've lived here for 1,000 years. this property value is going up. I got to
should have bought the
contribute.
Red Door house from
So now
there.
her and her weirdo, I don't know, husband or whatever he is, they
Thing.
sit in lawn chairs a foot away from the person they've hired to do their yard work. And
Shut up.
I think he's a prisoner. But
They're a prisoner or a prisoner from like jail?
no, I think he's their prisoner. But their lawn looks nice, so I'm really not
Maybe he
complaining.
works at Walmart,
But
too.
the funny thing is while he like puts bricks around their trees and has been cleaning up their yard, they sit in lawn chairs, and I am not making this up. They sit a foot away from him on lawn chairs and stare him down. And I've been watching it go on for the last month. And so I was on my bike the other day and I went that way and I'm like, oh, well, the prisoner's doing really nice yard work. Like, maybe I can offer a canned good or something to make sure he's properly fed here in this holiday
He'll
season.
turn it into a shiv.
Okay,
But
right.
you have to come over.
The old people will be dead, but besides that, the
And the
lawn
best-
looks
Be free.
fantastic.
Set
off
it free.
my
Set it free.
lawn.
Ooh.
The best part about it though is because they leave the lit up the brightly lit Jesus in the manger scene up till like way after Jesus should be older. You know what I mean? Like Jesus should clearly be
Should be his
played
first birthday.
by an actor that's a little bit older. But the lit
Sam
up Jesus
Elliott should
stays
play
there.
Jesus.
So I'm trying to figure out.
Every
This-
time someone says Sam Elliott, my first thought is that Sam from the Muppets, that Uncle Sam, and then I get the real Sam Elliott. Keep going, sorry.
So I'm just cracking up because I'm like, I can't wait to figure out how the prisoner is going to tend the lawn while the lit up Jesus is between them and the lawn chair. Like, I can't wait to see this all play out.
Can you name this week's show something about the prisoner on the lawn and the lit up Jesus?
Write that down. Prisoner,
With a shiv.
lawn.
But every day, and I want someone
Canned
to be out there
food.
with me, but nobody
Shiv.
works my hours. So whenever I see the
Shiv.
prisoner, I'm like, I just want to be like, someone come look at this guy that's
Lawn
doing yard
chair.
work 1 foot away from a lawn chair.
and old people.
And then the other
I'm
funny
just going
thing
to call
is,
it block watch.
yeah, block watch. That's even better.
I love it.
So there used to be a homeless guy that stood at the, I don't know if he was
Block
homeless,
watch.
but he had a lot of free time. But he would stand at the tree across from my house and stare in my front window. And I used to call him
I
Tom.
call that a stalker.
My dogs
We call
would
that-
eat him.
When I was
A
doing my
voyeur.
cooking show on the Missy L Network, I named him Tom, and he was my security for the Missy L Network.
Who people thought was real.
From Jerry Springer.
Like, I gave him a name, and he had a backstory.
Yeah?
It was like he was my doll.
Oh my God, I love it.
So now he's been replaced by the lovely lawn human across the way who sits in his lawn chair and stares in my window from in front of his townhouse. And so I wave at him in the morning,
I
and I
know
don't
that-
have pants on. Like, I stand there on purpose because I sleep in a t-shirt with no pants,
Stop it.
and I wave at him.
I'm coming over whenever, not because you don't have pants on.
Oh
but
my God.
whenever those
I'm gonna go
hours
sit
are,
with the
I
lawn
want to
chair
come
guy.
and watch the
Oh, it's
the lawn-
hysterical. I don't know what he could be looking at because he's just staring in my front window, so I give him a show.
It is the end of hour 2. We are
I'm still awake.
going into hour 3. Al coming back with entertainment, thoughtful vulgarities coming up, and something about a lawn ornament. But
Yeah.
we'll leave that to them. We'll
A
be
lawn
back
gnome.
right after this. Oh my God.
God, that's great.
You've been listening to The Show on Q Talk America. This is Q Talk America.
The following broadcast contains adult humor, language, and topics, along with partial nudity. Actual knowledge is used sparingly. The show is a result of a lost bet and a bad game of rock, paper, scissors. It's The Show with Clayton McKee. And now, a man with a face for radio, Clayton McKee.
Oh, good evening, 9 o'clock. It's the beginning of hour 3. And if you made it through hour 2, well, you're doing better than the rest of us. Holy cowosauruses. That was so funny. The ending is so funny. But if you don't understand what a block watch is, you really should figure
You should not move to Al's neighborhood.
you
that's
should
for
figure
sure.
out what a block
Prisoner
watch
watch.
is and get a load of it.
Do not pick
God
up
damn it.
hitchhikers.
Oh my God.
That is very, very
And
funny.
anyone
good
who
shit.
might be online right now and they're going to be watching the latest video, it's that retaliatory garden light.
Retaliatory guard lighting. That is one of my
gosh.
favorites.
Oh, that
Yeah,
is
because
funny
online,
as
that's been the
shit.
show online since we started. Is that still playing? Are we even on?
No, we're on.
I'm just,
Yeah.
I
I'm
don't
just
know.
laughing because
So-
retaliatory garden lighting was the
my
show that
God.
was playing when we started.
Sometimes.
Oh, was it really?
sometimes it doesn't click up an update, but according to this, we are
that
on.
is-
We are on.
Oh, and your
according to
mom
that.
watches us. She would have
And
texted
mom
us.
watches. Well, she's watching actually, so she
Yeah.
hears is the
She always knows.
retaliatory garden lighting. Your light, me, dog, right in the middle.
Okay.
God, I love that. Okay, so beginning of our, we're running really late, but it doesn't fucking matter. I'm gonna save the last story that I had in the headlines for next week. But at this point in time, we should just give him the rest, the whole other hour, but we won't.
Oh, we'll share it.
Please welcome Al Perkins.
Well, in what's clearly old news, Tom Daly came out as gay. The award show season has officially kicked off today. The ones that I count started today. Wolf of Wall Street got its official premiere. We have a big, exciting movie that's going on. Paul Walker's dead.
Still dead.
Tired of hearing that, really.
So's the guy with the other guy in the car.
Yeah, oh, poor thing. To be the person that died with John, the girl that died with John Jr. and the wife.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean?
Oh, wah, wah.
She gets wah wah.
Well, that would be the girl's sister.
Yeah,
Yes,
I know.
Carolyn
The
Bassett's sister.
The wife's sister.
I know. So sad.
Lauren.
So we'll start
Did you
with
make that up?
No, her name was Lauren.
and now what is her name that sits over there? Whatever her name is, Connie.
Katie? Connie.
Same thing.
Thank you for messing up her name.
Connie Jung.
I honestly don't know.
Jung.
I honestly don't know anybody's name. So anyway, so Connie's favorite show, The Walking Talking Dead, had their season finale. That season, the mid. Now everybody has these fall finales that they're all doing.
Bullshit. Stop taking the break.
Just to make sure that we know that they're not going to play anything through Christmas because no one watches TV through Christmas, so we don't waste any advertising dollars. I do too.
Yeah.
But The Walking Dead mid-season finale or fall break or whatever it was spectacular, as they say in Colombia.
What? Oh, I don't think that's what they say.
Hello,
Yeah,
Colombia.
no, it is. Espectacular. That means spectacular in Spanish.
Okay.
Okay. So, anyways, it was so
Say aloha
good.
in Hawaii.
And seriously, nothing and no one was sacred. There was no one safe in this episode. They were killing people off left and right. And then you go to The Talking Dead. And if you watch
Is this when people were crying about somebody getting...
Right.
Can I stand by for a minute?
Yeah.
Is The Walking Dead really different from The Talking Dead?
Yeah, The Talking Dead is it's like Watch What Happens Live.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Andy Cohen. I get that
Right.
reference. Okay, keep going.
And I always say,
I wish
Oh,
there was
yeah.
carpet. I'm sliding.
so The Talking Dead has become like must-see TV, especially if you watch it alone like I do a little bit later, and you don't have anyone to talk to about how good the show was. Right. Then The Talking Dead comes on, and they'll have some cast members. They have fans.
So Andy Cohen, Watch Happens
Yeah.
Live. Yeah.
So, and whatever her name is, she's on Parks and Recreation, the big black lady,
Oh my God, I love her.
Regina. I can't think what her name is.
love her.
She goes by one name. Turns out she's a huge fucking fan, and she's the best guest.
Oh, she's fantastic.
So they had Lauren Cohen, who plays Maggie, and they had Herschel, I can't remember, Scott Wilson, big actor. He's in Cold Blood. He's in like a great actor that's been on the show for seasons. And then they had one of the main producers on. They killed off a beloved character. And I mean, in the most grisly, gruesome, unexpected way, they killed off like one of the leads in the show, and it was just like, bam, cut your head off, fuck you. Actually, not even cut your head off, just put a blade in your neck and watch you bleed to death and crawl to your
The
death.
end.
It was horrible. So then they bring the actors on, and this poor actress is talking about the death of this character and like how much she loves him and how sad she is that she's not going to work with him and what a pleasure it was to have him as a coworker. And she thought of him as a mentor and a father figure. Go back 1 week, and at the end of last week's Talking Dead, the guy that hosts it, he's a comedian. I can't think of his name. At the very end, thank you. At the very end of the episode, he just says, "I would like to dedicate this show to my dad who passed away on Friday, and it's been very sad, and I really didn't know if I could do the show up until the last minute, but I decided."
Hardwick.
Yeah, Chris Hardwick. He's like, "Thank you, to my dad, and I just want to say thank you to everyone for your words of support if you had heard about it." And I was like, oh my God, what like a non-Kardashian way to go out, to wait till the end of the show and just say it as you go by and walk away. So now you know that, I mean, his father had just died. So you figure the funeral was afterwards. Sure. So he
Heart
has
attack.
Yeah, so he has to go back and now deal with this woman. And it's a fictional story, but you know how when you're kind of emotional and you're feeling something? So here's this woman crying about a father figure dying and going on and on about losing. And he's trying to keep it together hosting the show. And you could tell he's a raw fucking wound. So she's kind of tearing up and keeps apologizing for getting teary-eyed about her father figure leaving. And then you can see them cut back to Chris Hardwick. And he's like taking deep breaths and like he's glassy-eyed with tears, and he's like trying to get through it and like, please throw it to someone. And they just kept bringing it back to a father figure dying. And what do you do? And I'm like, oh my God, don't you guys watch this show? Like, this is not the week. And she's like, I didn't even think I should come on because I'm so emotional. And here's him like, my real dad just died. It was, and I cried through the whole thing. It was so, and it was one of those things of just watching someone who's usually funny try so hard to be strong through a story. It was very touching. But The Walking Dead from this week was spectacular. I mean, I stayed off Facebook because I didn't want any spoilers because I was a little late to the party.
Sure.
And
And people do that all the time.
right. So yeah, it's crazy.
Just putting shit on Facebook where you're like,
yeah.
stop it.
So we're gonna go to another well, The Wolf of Wall Street actually got some nominations in, and I cannot remember. It's the International Film Critics Award, and they're the people that were like thought that the Hollywood Foreign Press was such a joke that they broke off and made their even more lame and unimportant award show. So they nominated The Wolf of Wall Street for Best Picture, Best Actor, Best Supporting Actor for Jonah Hill. And everyone was like, no one has screened this movie yet. You can't nominate it. We know that you're trying to get buzz and ratings. They're like, we don't have a TV show, so we don't have ratings. And yes, we saw the movie. So it turns out that The Wolf of Wall Street did get its premiere last week. And from what I've heard, Leonardo DiCaprio, role
I've
of
never
a
even heard of
lifetime.
this movie.
It's the Martin Scorsese one where Leonardo DiCaprio is the guy that's like, last year I made $50 million and I was just pissed off because I was $2 million short of $1 million a week. And it's getting great buzz, and they're trying to get ready for Christmas. They want Leo to get another Oscar nomination. He has zero shot of winning, but they're trying to get him a nomination. And it's supposed to be, it's a Martin Scorsese, but Jonah Hill, I guess, comes through, and guess who's in it? No one else but Matthew McConaughey. Buy one Matthew McConaughey, get one free.
Aloha!
He's in it, and another one that they're saying like he has there are so many chances to nominate this man for something somewhere, and then he's got a new TV series starting in January on HBO. So I think he's cloned himself, and I think we should look into the scientific possibility that there's something going on
He's
there.
hanging out with that Leah Remini and her Scientology.
That's right.
bullshit.
That's right.
Oh, I hope he doesn't fall into that. So
he
Paul
won't.
Walker dead, and it's very sad.
Wah, wah.
Although I really only saw one movie with him, it was called Joyride, and I really liked it. But ironically, everything his movies are about cars, and not ironically, but coincidentally, and dies in a car.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Good call. I didn't even think that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So,
I mean,
what
and kind of. I mean, if that's what your deal is,
Yeah.
then good.
Very mild book club
I mean, if
selections.
you gotta die.
Yeah, if you gotta die. Stephen King's new one, Dr. Sleep, is one of the greatest books I've read in the last 10 years. It is hypnotic. I read most of it in a day, and I honestly kept forgetting where I was. I kept looking up and being like, am I? And I was in the dark. I had a candle burning. I was reading the book. I read it over the course of 9 hours. I'm like, am I in my bedroom,
where
my
were
living
you?
room? Like,
You at home?
I was in my
He
living
Just
room.
have his
I
pants on, and Tom
love
was
books
staring
like
at
that.
us.
Yeah, exactly.
Hi, Tom.
Yep, and The Watcher. But
Tom and the Watcher. I got Hulk and the Yappies. You got Tom and the Watcher.
a little while ago, one of my favorite books was called In the Heart of the Sea. It's by Nathan Somebody. It's the true story of Moby Dick, and it really does tell the story, and it's not a venereal disease. Yes.
You can keep going. I'll go when you're finished.
May
No, go
I
ahead.
just?
Well, I just wanted to. You said Moby Dick, and I just wanted to mention, for those of you
Venereal
who are,
diseases?
yeah, those two. If you are a Phoenician and you like changing hands, they're trying to do a crowdsourcing to open their downtown one, and they have a shirt that says. It has a picture of a whale at the very top. There's a little ocean, a guy in a boat, and it says, "Who you calling Dick?" And so you can buy that and donate to Changing Hands. They can
Yes.
open downtown.
Nathaniel
Continue.
Philbrick.
Yes, and it's a beautiful, beautiful book, and it's the true story of, because Moby Dick was a true story.
Revenge of the Whale.
Revenge of the Whale, and this
Who
is
you calling Dick?
Who you calling Dick? And this is the story, the true story of like what whalers went through in that time period, and it's a brilliant, beautifully written book called In the Heart of the Sea. Ron Howard's directing. The movie opens March 15th, and I guess something happened and they got flooded. So we'll get to award season very quickly. Today was the very first of
That's
the.
funny. They got flooded. The
Yeah,
set
exactly,
of
exactly.
In the Heart of the Sea. That's funny.
Again, not ironic, but we'll go with it.
Right.
A little irony there.
A little bit tiny, but not enough.
Oh, and that Chris Hemsworth is in it, huh?
Yes, because that's becoming Ron Howard's new favorite. So I always thought, and I have to admit to being wrong, that I always thought that the National Board of Review was the first awards that were presented each year. But it turns out New York Film Critics has always been a day early. I guess I just never saw it. So National Board of Review is tomorrow. They often get Best Picture wrong, but they're pretty good on actors. New York Film Critics mostly get Best Picture right. They're mostly wrong on acting. But American Hustle, which I told you last week, they finally did the premiere. They finally showed it to critics, and everybody was like, the reaction was kind of mixed as to like, okay, this movie's way more involved and more plot heavy than we were expecting. We thought this was going to be like a 70s romp, but Jennifer Lawrence, amazeballs. Yeah. Well, now all of a sudden, New York Film Critics comes in, and American Hustle wins Best Picture. And Best Director goes to Steve McQueen, 12 Years a Slave. American Hustle gets Best Screenplay, and it gets Best Supporting Actress for Jennifer Lawrence. So, I mean, they were not whistling out their ass about these awards. Yeah. Now, here's the movie that I saw this week that I have to tell you, avoid. Maybe rent it, but do not go see this movie. It's called All Is Lost, Robert Redford. I felt like I was watching...
Old Man in the Sea?
Yeah.
One?
I felt like I was watching a Nat Geo... what's it called when they do a dramatic reenactment, but they forgot to get Morgan Freeman to do the voiceover? I just don't get it. Yes, he's stranded at sea and he looks very sad, but there's no dialogue. He says fuck. The only line of dialogue really spoken in the movie is the word fuck.
He could be on this.
Like it's,
But it was brilliantly...
Cunty fuck.
He did say it brilliantly. I do have to admit that I felt his pain when he said fuck. But other than that, I'm like, here's my two options for you. If somebody sees it, please offer it up, send it to our Facebook. Tell me, do you think it's about the danger of litter? That no matter how well prepared you are, litter will fuck you up, or you have to get rid of everything you own, burn the rest, and then you'll finally touch the hand of God. I don't understand what the hell this movie was about or why I spent 90 minutes watching it.
I don't
90
know
plus
if
minutes.
Touching the hand of God is important enough to burn my... Like, I like my bed.
No,
I
I
don't
mean,
really burn
but
my
seriously, like, touching the hand of God was clearly a big point of this movie, but I don't know what it was. And all I thought was, if Robert Redford wins Best Picture, I need something to throw at my TV that will not break it. I mean, wins Best Actor, because I do not get that fucking movie.
But you don't think he will, do you? I mean, isn't that just kind of a nod to Redford?
No, but he, on goldderby.com, which is my new crack.
Or is this like Castaway? This is like Tom Hanks?
But this is someone who's owed an Oscar. This is someone with a long, storied career, only one previous nomination for The Sting. He does have a win as director for Ordinary People. Everyone's going to think it's his time. He is the Sundance Film Festival. Like, he is a god amongst movie lovers and movie goers. So it could be time to... He could get a political Oscar that you're like, oh my God, everybody else in this category is so much better. And in a strong Best Actor category, I am sorry. You can sail. Ordinary People's about a sailboat thing goes wrong. The Way We Were's most iconic shot is on a sailboat where, well, at least I didn't lose Katie.
He's the same age as Burt Reynolds. He's 77.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes
Redford.
sense.
Also
And he's-
not a prime number.
Still looks good. So, and then Best Supporting
No, I'm
Actor.
just throwing the age up because it's like, if we're not going to give it to him posthumously, we should
Real
think
soon.
about getting
But
it.
he already-
That's a good word to
Yeah,
make, Clayton.
he already has his fucking Oscar. He's a director. But anyways, so Jared Leto wins for Dallas Buyers Club, an amazing win. And now the goldderby.com, my personal crack has
now.
said it's Jared's to lose. Like, Oprah may not win. She's probably not going to win a lot of critics awards.
Okay.
But once you get to TV time, when everybody votes for someone they want to see on stage, Oprah wins. Oprah will not win these small little awards, but still Oprah's Oscar, and no one's arguing. Everyone's saying she probably won't walk away with one critics award, but she will sweep anything that's on
fuck's
TV.
sake.
Okay.
No,
Yeah, but no,
it is the
she-
greatest performance. I have not seen
Her
we saw-
performance in that movie
in
that
The
we saw in
Butler?
the car.
Yeah. She was amazing.
amazing. Like that.
Okay, if it wasn't Oprah and it was somebody else, would you still think it's
Yes.
amazing?
If they performed that,
That
way,
well.
yeah.
If you gave a character with that many colors in a year where, I mean, there's a new test and it's in Entertainment Weekly this week, and if you the thing is you have to find a movie where two women have a conversation that's not about a male character, and they have they do something that's not to benefit the man. And any conversation they have with another woman is not about a man, and only 2 movies this year passed.
Okay, The Butler and what else? Do you know?
No, and they had to give it to Gravity because at least she's talking about herself. But there is just, I'll bring it in. I'll bring it in to show
I'm
you.
not an Oprah fan. I'm the only one in the whole fucking
no,
world who's
no,
not an
no,
Oprah
he
fan.
is not
hater,
an Oprah fan.
hater.
God, I could kiss you.
Hater.
But
I have no use
I
for
wasn't
Oprah.
as blown away as ever. Maybe it's because like I didn't like Titanic because of the hype. Maybe I didn't like
Maybe.
Oprah
Yeah.
because
But
of
I
the
think
hype.
I'm the only one that's hyping her. And this Inside
was a
Llewellyn
fantastic
Davis,
movie.
Llewyn Davis,
Okay.
wins Best Cinematography, Best Screen, like it wins some awards. And then we're done with that thing. Let's get off this
Next
page.
tab.
Next tab. Now the short list for documentaries is out. And the important things to see if you're going to see a documentary this year, of course, Blackfish, because Blackfish is doing really well everywhere.
Is that sad? Can I watch that or no?
Oh, God.
Oh, no, I
Oh,
can't watch that.
no.
Oh, God, that's
No.
a SeaWorld one.
That's the one I told you. You can't
Nope.
watch it.
Oh.
I
Can't watch it,
watched
can't watch it,
I
can't watch
watched
it.
that and went, no.
I was captivated by something, another story I was reading. I'm sorry. What were you talking about, Blackfish?
They made the short list because documentaries, everyone doesn't get to vote on documentaries. You have to be on a select thing, and you absolutely have to go to a screening, and you have to sign in to say you saw the movie.
I would have to Google it right quick to find out, but there was a thing that came across somebody's Facebook, a band that was booked to perform at SeaWorld
It was
canceled it.
Bare Naked Ladies.
Bare Naked Ladies.
They're Canadian, and the tie-in, and I forgot it exists.
Good on them.
If I could just throw myself into the story.
Why not, Al? It's your fucking segment.
Is I forget that in Niagara Falls, Ontario, there is something called Marineland and Game Farm, and it's an amusement park with a whale show, a dolphin show.
Right.
And
Is it akin to?
Yes, it's the Canadian SeaWorld, and it's a cold climate park, but they keep them penned up all through the winter because who the fuck wants to go to a water park in the middle of 2 degrees?
So for however many months they sit there. And,
So it turns out that as I was on the fanboy page for Blackfish, they've been doing all these screenings in Niagara Falls to get Marineland to have to, because they're Canadian, it's not SeaWorld. They want them to follow the same rules as SeaWorld is
That
now being
makes sense.
forced to.
Yep.
So they're doing all these screenings, and it was those fans that called Bare Naked Ladies, they're Canadian, and said, do not do the SeaWorld show, and they sent them the documentary, and they said they would watch it, they would process, and they're like, fuck no.
We're not going to
Right.
be
We
associated
We want
with
nothing
that.
to do with
yeah.
them. So on your documentaries, Blackfish made it to the top 15, which is good because usually these movies that are very good. Pussy Riot, A Punk Prayer, about the imprisoned
the
In-Rise,
band.
yep.
the band. And now from what I've heard, the documentary to find and watch is called The Act of Killing. And I'm just gonna to spitball it here. What they do is they get, I want to say Cambodia. They get people that were accused of committing atrocities to explain in terms of film what they did. It's their way of apologizing. So they can use any film genre, any movie script, and try to tell their story through film. Whether they were the people that were like somehow tortured or they were the torturers, it's a way for them to come together and tell the story of Cambodia. That may be
Wow.
completely wrong, but the idea of getting people to put into cinematic
very
language.
complicated.
Yeah, to put through cinematic language what they went through in Cambodia. Very interesting. But that has turned out to be the one that everyone is talking about because it's got a Hollywood angle. You know, the only way to win an Oscar is to make it about the Holocaust. But in this case, this could be the way because you want to appeal to the Oscars. So that's it with that. The Gotham Awards are an independent movie thing, and this Inside Llewyn Davis, this movie that has been talked about for 9 fucking months, and my friend and I that went to the movies yesterday, Kevin, were like, just show us the goddamn movie. I've been watching previews for this thing for 9 months. Show the fucking movie. It's the new Coen Brothers movie.
Yep.
Everyone's raving
you've
about
talked
it,
about
but you
that.
got to release it so someone
Yeah.
can see it. If we're not allowed to see it, we
Sometimes
can't vote
people
on
get
it.
bored with it and they're like,
Right.
fuck you.
Well, no, but then you're just annoyed. Like, stop giving it awards
Yeah.
unless you release it and let someone who watches awards do it. Let me think if there's anything else. All right, so now we're going to get really uber personal here. And I'm sorry because I'm going to hijack the whole fucking thing. Shocker. I know. Hey,
Aloha.
it is 9:20.
I'm so kidding you. I'm kidding you.
I
Do
played
I get
nicely.
It was
sports and
it was
stuff?
almost my show
don't
for a
know.
minute.
We'll see.
I
So
don't think
we'll
I do.
kind of make this something else.
Hijack.
So I went to a movie that's been getting a lot of press, and it's Judi Dench.
I know what you're talking about.
Philomena, the story of a woman searching for her adopted son, and it's another story of Irish Catholics or
Is
just
it a-
Catholics or just Irish people doing horrible things.
Is
to
it
people.
adopted son or the son she gave up?
The son she gave up
Okay.
for adoption.
Got it.
And she decides around, I think, Christmas time, she has a little breakdown, and she finally tells her family that she gave up a baby, and her story of being in an Irish orphanage. In an Irish orphanage
During
where
a
they
potato
sold the
famine.
right, they sold Irish people just fucked up, and Catholics fucked up. So
Oh,
they took these.
Hello, Mr. McKee.
Thank
How
you.
are you doing
Thank you.
today?
Well, I'm an alcoholic who needs to pick up trash.
Yeah, they
There's a vaccine for that.
yeah.
Trash?
There was a movie a few years ago about these girls that were in these Irish orphanages and basically used for slave labor, and I can't remember what the name of the movie was. This is just an extension of it. Her father put her into the convent because he didn't want anything to do with her being pregnant. She had no idea. Her mother had died. She was convent raised. No one told her what the facts of life were, where babies came from. She gives birth to a baby, and then she has to work for 4 years, 7 days a week to pay off the debt for taking care of the baby. The orphanage is right next door. They get an hour a day with their babies, and then they were selling the babies to people with $1,000.
Oh, wow.
And it's her journey to find her son. And this and Judi Dench she can do no wrong. This woman is just at the top of her game at her age. Phenomenal performance.
Did you say is this based on a true?
Yes,
is this an
it's
actual?
It's an actual
Okay.
story,
All
and
right.
they pretty much went note for note with the real story, as far as I could tell. There is an actual book. Again, I read the magazine article that promoted the book, and it seemed like they kept pretty close, and they used the actual footage of the kid. Just sat there, watched the story. It has some twists I did not anticipate coming, and I just kind of went numb. A brilliant performance. And Steve Coogan, usually a comic actor, very funny, British movies. He's one of those people that you would know him if you saw him, but you can't place anything he's been in.
In the trailer that they're showing, he's the
journalist.
The gentleman that they're, yep.
He's
okay.
the journalist that helps her find the story.
Okay.
He co-wrote it, produced it, stars in it.
Wow.
Beautiful movie. So I got home last night, had a little soul searching, and started the journey to find my birth mother.
Holy crap!
So
I'm gonna very gently give an aloha.
Yeah, and it has been a rough 25 hours. I hired a private investigator today and started that, and that was very traumatic and a very difficult phone call.
Wow.
I sent letters to my sisters last night that one just wrote back she was in shock. The other one has not responded to me, but I texted my brother-in-law, who's like, well, it's time to do something. And he's like, I'll help whatever I can. I went onto a website called adopted.com. Please do not go on this website and read these stories for any reason. They are gut-wrenching and horrible. And it was terrible.
So that movie was that powerful for you, huh?
And
Though you started that segment with saying it's just an extension of something else.
Yeah.
And now we find out that it really is a
it
little...
has been a very rough day. And, waiting to hear back from people, and that adopted.com will kill you. And so I...
if you need someone to sit there and open bottles of wine for you while you just sit there, I sure
We
will.
got wine.
he can open his bottles
No,
by
I know.
himself.
If
We
he
got-
just wants to hang out, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Because
But the kinship you two have is there's an adoption story there.
Right.
So at the end of the
And
table...
it was definitely time, and they had all these clues, and they were like, let as many people you know. The cousin that I always talk about that gave up her crib so that she had to sleep in a big girl bed so I could have a bed because it was so unplanned. She has all these foster kids and his adopted kids, so I talked to her about. I sent her. She's in shock. She hasn't gotten back to me yet because I'm like, I need to know how to get to the New York State system. And it has been a roller coaster of a day. And then the girls that I grew up with on my block, that I call some of them, they're like my sisters. I'm like, your mom was best friends with my mom. I need to know stories. It's time that everybody sits down. I need the gossip. I need stories. I need everything going on. And it has just been a 25-hour crying cycle. I finally I didn't know how to get a hold of my brother-in-law, and I really can't. This is the first time I'm saying it out loud. Everything has been like in text or email. But I texted my brother-in-law, and he was like, I'll do whatever I can. But like my one sister hasn't said anything back, and
that's okay.
right. And but I wanted everyone to be at the starting line at the exact same time. So before I went through the adopted.com or I talked to the investigators today, I wanted everybody to full disclosure because there's so many minefields ahead, and I have to get rid of all the ones on my side.
And
So-
everybody at this table supports you in whatever you need from
Right.
us too.
Wow,
End of story.
what a very, very interesting journey to partake in.
And it's way harder than I ever thought. Writing that letter last night, I think I lost about 6 gallons of water out my eyes. I was shaking, and then writing the other two girls, and I was like, I need stories. And then number 2, you have to take care of my sisters. They have to know. So I pay the $9.95 to go on adoption.com, and you put in your information as much as you know, and it came back with 100% match for me.
Oh.
Whoa.
Whoa.
And I hit the button and I read this woman's story of a baby born on May 11th, 1967 that she gave up. And I almost died. It was not my mother, but there was someone with the same story, and it almost killed me.
Oh my gosh.
Because I didn't know to the bottom when she said the city, because it was New York State. It was the right date. I felt like I got kicked in the stomach and then set on fire for a little while.
Sure.
It was bad. And I was like, if it ends in one click of a computer,
Wouldn't that be wild?
I would have died. I seriously probably would have just turned around.
Because there needs to be a little bit more to it, especially knowing how you are.
Like,
there
good
needs to be
God,
more of a
yeah.
story.
There needs to be a saga.
Because
of
best
some kind,
supporting
yes.
actor is not going to come to you. You're not going to get any.
You can't write a screenplay
No.
on that.
And I have to tell you that was when I read that 100% match and I clicked on the button. I mean, I'm shaking right now telling the story. I was shaking head to foot, sobbing, and I read this poor woman's story, and I'm like, I'll just say I'm your son. Like, how about that? Are you white?
No. Again,
Surprise! I'm white.
because of my ignorance of this, because I obviously not. I seem to know who my parents are. Though, based on the size of my ass, I question. There's a question somewhere, Mom. I'm not sure.
That was only when you were 10.
Now when you go on to the site, are you? I don't know how it connects. Does it only connect if somebody else is looking back for you?
Yes. And so I did one profile looking for, like, because of the way that my adoption story plays out according to the gossip and everything that I've heard.
Right.
The person that I could only find would be my birth mother.
Okay.
And then she has a family, but the father would be something that I would have to meet her to get that information.
Right.
Or he might know something and be on there. But the other one was looking for any siblings, and that was another profile. And that was another round of, like,
You may have
absolute heartbreak to be on this page, and these people that are looking for siblings that they were separated from as children that they remember, but they were taken away for something.
or heard that
Do
existed.
not go on this website.
Wow.
You don't have the emotional power. It was devastating. Yeah. And I told Harrison, because I had texted her last night, and she texted me back this morning, and I seriously, like, stopped crying when I fell asleep, and I woke up this morning, and I was like, it was just right back to it. And then, like, somebody, I got an alert while we were sitting here saying someone answering a text, because I'm like, well, I need to know what city, because you have the right month, you have the right state.
Everything is.
Like, what do you have? And then the picture was of a black person, but I'm like, and again, like, my urge was to be like, it's me. Like, I just want to make this story end. Like, it's
That could explain the Donna Summer
You had
affinity.
a white baby.
like, oh my God, I feel like one of those fucking whales. With, like, the empathy for them is I didn't know it was there. I had never like talked, and you're talking to these people online, and they're telling these stories about these separations, and I'm like, oh, no.
How long has this been an urge or a thought?
I mean, really, for 20 years. My dad will be dead 20 years in January. And there was someone in my life for a big chunk of my life that I just thought was my mother, and that my family was just pretending like that. I thought it was someone that they just purposely kept close. Like, I thought it was like, we're never going to tell you, but this woman that's always around is really her. And I honestly thought that for the longest, until I was like 18 or 19. And then my dad died when I was in my 20s. And we were sitting there at the table, and I said to my mom, I'm like, I don't know when there will ever be a good time to ask you, but I'm pretty sure this is the worst time. So I'm going to play that card.
Was Ruthie drinking at that time?
We all were.
Yeah, of course.
She started.
And like I said, I mean, this was a very understanding woman. And she offered what she knew. When I talked to the private investigator today, I love to use that word. I used to PI. Anyways, when I talked to them
Tom
today,
Selleck is what I'm envisioning.
Magnum, yeah.
Right.
I had more information than they were used to getting, so they were fairly confident. They're like, and I was seriously, and then she was like, well, would you want to meet her? And I seriously started crying. I'm like, I don't know. I don't know. I don't have that
yet.
yet.
Be able to answer that yet.
That's so far down the next mile. I don't know. Like, I really don't know what comes next, but it was just getting all the messages out to everybody that, like, it's starting. And I was like, I don't even want to be a day ahead of anybody. Like, I wanted, like, this is all here. And then I printed up the registry where you register, because New York State's closed adoptions are, like, sealed like a novice's ass. Go to the nun story. And
Not like Tom Daly.
Watertight like a frog's ass. So,
Again, not Tom Daly.
Right, no.
or Sally Field because she played Frog
Thank you for
Full
bringing that
circle.
around.
I like it.
in a Trans Am. So what you do is you go on the New York State Registry and you say you're looking for someone, and if they've done the same thing, then it puts the ping together. And the question on there was like, any court papers for your adoption? And I don't know. None of us, I'm not mad about anything. I was just baffled that my sister's handling everything from my parents' estate or whatever you want to call it. And I'm like, somewhere in that thing, she has to have seen my actual adoption papers. And I never, like, until yesterday at 8 o'clock p.m., I never thought that, well, yeah,
What would you need them for?
but somebody's been sitting on that this whole,
yeah,
sitting in my mom's drawer where she kept everything that's now in a
Oh,
safety
yeah.
deposit box. Like, these papers have been, I don't know what they say, I don't know what they look like, I don't know what they contain, but they've been sitting there all this time. And the one thing that they say on the form is if you have these papers, it will make it easier. But it was, it's a very,
Well, wouldn't those papers have been submitted to the court as well?
well,
So
yeah,
they
they're
would have
from the
copies.
court. It's court papers.
But
No, but I mean, they would have copies.
Right. But just the fact that this has
Well,
been sitting around is
I'm
we've been
curious. That's
yeah.
why
I don't know
don't-
if they'd have copies because we were talking back in the late 60s. And I mean, if you even go back into the early 80s on something, most states, and I'm going for the DMV, not for
right.
you know,
Yeah,
adopting a human. But if you even go back as far as into the mid to late 80s, they're like, we didn't have computer systems. There isn't a copy of anything.
Right.
They've only kept documentation since the electronic age, and it wasn't like that back in
And
the late
my
60s.
mom and my sisters are so fucking organized that there's no way those papers
Now-
were misplaced or put anywhere else.
So do you assume at this? And if I'm not trying to read anything in your story that's not. So do you assume, or do you know that somewhere there's a file that somebody has that is all of your mom's stuff that just is tucked away in an attic or somewhere?
And I have my birth certificate that says
You were born.
I was that a person was born on this date, but they became this person. I always say that, like my birth certificate says
Oh, isn't that
there was a
interesting?
child born on May 11th, 1967, but on June 9th, 1969, this person became Alfred Perkins.
Were you?
Interesting.
I've never heard you say this. Were you born just as a male child?
Yes.
That's what it says.
Yeah.
But
would
my
make
birth
sense.
mother would have had to sign it, and whether or not she admitted to who the father was, I don't know. But that would be on the original birth certificate, which is sealed tighter than a frog's ass in New York State.
So wow. But so the birthday that we celebrate for you is actually your date of birth.
Right, and then when I put in my search, I put in 2 days, but I'm like, no, because the whole story ties into Mother's
Right.
Day, and it's got such a
Yeah.
horrible, like, you know what I mean? That's my birthday. Like, I don't think anybody made up my birthday, and my mom did deliver me. Like, so far, what has gotten
Everything's
back
adding
to
up.
me is like,
Yeah.
everyone knows that.
This is what happened.
Right, and there was an adoption. The other thing that might help is that there was an adoption that, like, this woman didn't just show up at the hospital and give birth and be like, see you later. From what I've been told, the actual couple that was supposed to adopt me backed out at the last minute. So that's why I was left in the hospital.
Interesting.
Oh,
Well-
I
So
remember that part.
there isn't an adoption agency that would have been involved, and that's why they were like, well, this baby has nowhere to go, and my mom was like,
I got
Yeah, he
nothing.
does.
I'm good.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it was actually my father and my grandfather drunk at home, and my mom coming home and saying, well, you know, there's a baby that everybody's joking I should take home, and my grandfather told my father, you can't take a fucking baby home. You have no plan. You got nowhere to go. You both work. What are you gonna do? There's no room. And my dad was so pissed off that when he woke up in the morning, he said to my mother, bring that goddamn baby home. Just pissed the old man off. And that really
I
is
don't remember you ever
my
telling
God,
me that part of the story.
I
just
love
another
that.
touching part of the Perkins saga.
Aloha to a baby.
Yeah.
I'm hearing that blender go off in my mind.
Well, my mother's making a whiskey sour. Fuck these two old
Should we
men.
get the baby?
Yeah.
What are we gonna call
Oh,
him?
And
shit.
and my grandfather lived with us, so there was even less
In the
space.
basement where you were?
No, he did. There was
Oh, that's why you took over the basement when he
right,
died.
They tore down the wall and they made it into one big basement, but it had been a bedroom for my grandfather.
Oh.
And so the story allegedly goes when I went for the actual hearing to get officially adopted. Why not? I've been crying all fucking day that my grandfather stood on the porch and said, "You come home without that baby, don't come home at all."
Oh wow.
So my grandfather 2 years later was like, "Fuck you, the kid comes home. I don't like either one of you." But that,
Oh, I love that.
Now,
love that.
now that you've made this, let this ball start rolling, and you may not get to your sports and other stuff at this point. I'm just letting you know.
thinking it's
Fuck that
pretty
shit.
Just so you know.
I've had a planned
that
shit.
hijack in
I
my
think it's
house.
pretty much
So
No.
at this point, since this ball is clearly now rolling, now my first thought would be that
Let's drive to New York and
No,
do the
well,
show.
well, I'm driving nowhere, but I mean, she'll get on the big bird with a fat ass and she'll drive there.
We
or
can
she'll
drive
fly
the
there.
couch
Why you
car.
gotta-
Drive
Yeah.
the couch car.
Well,
Yeah,
like,
right.
No, but I'm. You should go back to your street and you should go to every house where every one of those ladies live and say, "Look,
Yeah, and they're
here's the talk we have to have."
and we were talking about phone numbers the other day, and a funny thing about I know all the people on the street's phone numbers still, and they all live in their mom's houses.
Yep.
When I can talk about this with someone over the phone, that it won't just be me sobbing in the corner. There is at least two other people like I know my sisters were 6 and 8, so they won't be a huge help. But I just can't imagine with as nosy and chatty as my fucking family is, that no one just went, "Oh yeah, there's a baby." Like no one was like, well, "Where did that come from?"
Right.
You know what I mean?
Ruthie
This-
never looked pregnant.
Yeah, and especially, and my mom was 4'10", so you can't really smuggle a baby under that.
Well, and there are a lot of people that I know from my experience that there were people that were a little bit pissy because here I am. Why am I reaching out to
Right,
this? And I mean this in the most polite way. This douchebag
Right.
that was like, I don't want a kid spitting up in my Corvette, so I'm not.
What year Corvette?
It was really. It was
you
really
describe
a
the
great
Corvette?
car, so I kind of get it.
Yeah.
I didn't have any kind of issues with that when I was young, so that's
Yeah.
a problem. But
there's I don't know, there's
and I'm not implying that'll happen with you. I just know
Oh,
that there
no,
were
no,
some
no.
people,
That's
and it
what
was
I'm
about
saying.
hurt feelings, and that's all it was.
Oh, can you imagine how this is not going to be hurt feelings?
exactly.
So I'll just share it all. What the fuck? So we'll just tune in later. Allegedly from this story, my mother was having an affair, but she was already married, and the only way her husband would take her back is if she gave the kid up for abortion. So my father would not be part of the
Adoption,
story.
not abortion.
Adoption.
Two different words, same
I
first
was-
letter.
Exactly.
yeah.
Sorry. Wow.
Yeah.
Because if you're an abortion, you went terribly wrong.
Exactly.
It didn't work.
That's a failure right
In
there.
a long life expectancy
Yeah.
on abortion. All right, so I'll just say it. This is so horrible. But so I'm really afraid that she was raped.
Okay.
And like there's like so many minds on the other side. That's what I said. I have to clear my
Yeah.
side. Is like everybody, even if like
But
everybody has their problems with it.
Why do you
I-
fear? Why do you fear that?
It
Be-
just
on-
it just
on-
makes
only
a lot of
because
sense.
His anger issues.
No, but my question.
Because it's 1967.
Sure.
I understand.
Free love. Like I
Right.
But is that rape or a one night stand?
Yeah,
It
I-
could be
right.
a free
I mean,
one
does
night
it,
stand.
did you do
Yeah.
a radio show and drink, and all of a sudden something happened? I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, like there. I can't even tell you how many things are just
Running through your head.
flat. And I've seen a lot of movies, so
Yeah.
I can add anything you need to to
Yes.
this film.
Invasion of the Body
Yeah,
Snatchers.
but I mean, but there's so much to it, and if you see this Philomena movie, like honestly, like it just took turns I was not expecting, and I cry at everything, and I honestly I couldn't come up with the reaction to it. I just didn't. I was watching the movie, and I was like, I don't even know what to.
What's going on? Yeah.
I went so numb about 3/4 through, and because I believed Judi Dench was her, like I was like, it was just shocking. And then I went home and I read the story, and I saw the pictures of the woman and the actual boy, and I'm like, that's rough times. Like that's. And these whole things with these stories, these people are putting these things online and they're making these pleas to like help them find their child. But if they're not on the same website, they might think no one's looking for them, and that's what was breaking my heart. Like,
Well, isn't there like is there not a national database that's
no,
connected?
you have to go state by state
Yeah.
because the
Well,
laws
and-
are so
okay.
different.
And how skeevy that, how much do you have to pay? $9.95 or whatever it was. I mean, come on. Can't we
Yeah.
offer this for free?
But
Yeah.
they do offer counseling. They offer to set up the
Oh.
Okay.
meet, and because that's what I said. Like,
okay.
because then it turns into like I'm a professional stalker. Like you give me the name, I'm
I'll
gonna know
find you.
everything in a minute.
Yeah.
But then how do you?
I learned a bunch of shit last week that I didn't know I was going to find out either. But
There you go.
And so that's what I
true.
thought. Like, do you take this on as a stalker, or do you, like, is it a phone call? Is it a photo bomb? Like, do you just show up in person at someone's door? Like, How do you
Hi, you don't know me,
Yeah.
but guess what?
guess where I came
and
from?
and that's actually exactly what I did with my grandmother. I called. It was the idea that you figure, and I obviously had much different information and whatever else, but I contacted. There was Louise DeVivo and Louise DeVito, and apparently
Danny DeVito.
it's Danny DeVito's mom.
Shut up.
What?
Yeah. So look that up. I honest to God, I've never looked this up, but that was
Choice number two?
Hers is
no, I
DeVivo.
called her.
Marnie's
I'm
is DeVivo.
Oh, I gotcha.
Oh, DeVivo.
and I called, but I called
I
Louise
was like, are you
DeVito.
telling me you're
Oh.
related to Dan?
I'm looking
to
this
Danny
shit up
DeVito?
Well,
right
that's
now.
why
That
I'm so
explains
short.
so
So
much.
I'm
much.
and I'm
The
late,
height.
and I'm
The height is one thing.
I'm frumpy. I mean, you got all of
You're
it.
attracted
Yeah.
to Rhea Perlman. Sorry, Ernie.
Right. You could have run a taxi
I don't know what
company.
to do
There's
with
a lot happening.
Miss Piggy, Rita
Yeah.
Perlman. I
There's
don't know
a
what
lot
to do with any of
happening.
it.
No, but when but flash to getting a hold of Louise DeVivo. When I called her, I didn't know what to say.
Yeah,
I'm
that's-
19. I'm like, hi. And I felt it only right to wait a period of time. It was never a huge
Yeah.
thing for me. But my dad died when I was 17. And so waiting, I was like 19, just about 20. And I just called. I went, like, there was something
And
medical.
For those of you not understanding this, when she says
Sorry.
dad, her adopted father Buzz,
Mm-hmm.
who passed away when she was 17.
17.
So she's looking for
Sperm
you
donor.
always called the sperm donor,
Yeah,
right?
just the sperm
Okay.
donor.
Honey, it looks like that's right.
Yeah.
This Louise
Because
DeVito
supposedly
is-
I spoke
there's
to
a picture
Louise
of-
DeVito. And she goes, no, I don't think you're right. Because I had practiced with
Yeah.
Danny DeVito's mom on the phone, trying to say that I was her son's kid. And she's like, no, I really don't think you are. And so we kind of went through things. Anyway, blur. But when I spoke to Louise DeVivo, she was a beautiful woman. And I felt, though, that I had to give it this time in between my dad, Buzz, passing away. And so I gave it a couple years. And when I called, it was really interesting because I just said, okay, so this is who I am. And I don't know, this is my name. And I don't know if you remember Diane McDonald, because that was her maiden name. And I said, I'm not sure. And she goes, oh, I remember Diane. And because he had asked for my mom's hand in marriage, Frank had. And my grandfather had said, no, you're too young to get married.
Now, did they know that there was a baby?
They did not. And
that's-
Diane did.
yeah, mom was fairly aware, and Frank knew. Frank saw me. Frank saw me, and my dad.
Oh, that reminds me of beaches. I saw my dad once across the
Oh,
street.
that's right, across the street.
Oh.
Yeah, my dad, Buzz, wanted to kick Frank's ass, and my dad, Buzz, was a whole lot taller than Frank, and whatever. So I wish I could see that, somebody get it on video. But he, because Frank was kind of an arrogant ass. He was 19
Right.
as well, and
That's what you get with 19-year-olds a
that's
lot of
right.
times.
So
Tom Daly is just like
Daly
that.
is just like that.
Ooh.
But yeah, so when I got done speaking with Louise and giving her my kind of, I said I don't want anything, like I don't want any money. I don't. I'm 19.
Right.
I don't know what. I'm not trying to get something out of this, but I think I had just gone for a medical appointment, and they asked
Yeah,
history.
yeah, I
Oh, and you
remember
need
that.
to know.
Yeah, and
right.
it was one of the first times that I was filling it out as an adult,
Right.
as opposed to
Right.
the history of that Dr. Coyne had for me, and I'm like, I don't know any of this, so I called, and
But
she
now,
said,
when did you find out that Buzz wasn't really your dad?
when as an only child, when I was playing Office, and going through his briefcase and.
Different office.
Different
Totally
office,
different. Not
different-
doctor.
No, not post
we
office.
weren't playing that.
Got it.
But
So
going
disturbing.
through his briefcase, and all of a sudden I was like, huh. And it said Marnie McDonald on my birth certificate on one of them, and I was like, well, that's weird, because I'm Marnie Ryer, and I don't know, maybe I'm 10,
Oh, okay.
something like that. And then it just kind of from there. And I used to go next door to the Pinotas, who always would make like fresh sauce and everything. And I'd come running home and I'd be like, I know a part of me is Italian.
Oh,
I
God.
know a part of me is Italian, Dad. And he'd look at me and he'd be like, huh? And well, because the sauce, like, I got to be there. I want just my stomach. It has to be my stomach, And we would, I would laugh about that, and he didn't. And I always thought, well, that's weird. Oh, not so weird now.
Because the DeVivos, that's
They're
maybe where that came
Italian,
from.
but it was interesting when Louise' grandma learned that who I was in the story, and she said, well, don't worry about it, honey. She said, I'll talk to Frankie. She said, I always thought he had a few skeletons in his closet. And so it wasn't surprising news. And there was something with Linda Lavin that was on like some kind of special, not an after school
You're trying to be
special.
related to everybody from the 80s.
No, I'm not. I swear. I swear to God.
Now it's Linda Lavin.
No, there was some story, and I believe it was Linda Lavin that was in it about a family, like a mom who had given up her child, and then the kid comes home at Christmas, like somebody knocks on the door and says, I'm your daughter. And I guess Frank and his wife Karen at the time or his wife Karen now, were sitting on the couch, and he said, there's something I better tell you.
Oh God.
No.
And that was years before. And he said, that could happen.
Just be
Just
ready.
in case you hear knocking. So, of course, probably every time
Don't
you
want
hear
to
him knock at
alarm
the door,
you, but
go out the peephole. He was also in Korea, so I might have Asian siblings. I'm not sure.
oh, that could happen.
I
This
don't
is
know.
just going everywhere.
No, but I mean, truly, like nobody has any idea.
Well,
So.
let me say this: your birth mother and sperm donor, whatever,
Yeah.
would be lucky to meet you and
Oh.
have you in
Oh,
their
yeah.
lives. End of story. And however we can support you on this journey, we are here.
Yeah.
And we love
Absolutely.
And everybody,
And we love you.
Everybody, no matter what side, no matter, I mean, whether it's the adoptive family, which, by the way, I don't even understand those words.
Yeah, I don't either. That's
Right? We've talked about that
That's the
before.
hard part.
That's my family. I
Family,
mean, the
yeah.
Ryer family is
Yep.
my family.
Right.
Yeah.
And I will never take that away. And
No.
and then when people get pissed because I call like my sister and two brothers, my half sister and my two half brothers, because I don't know what to say, because I
Yeah.
get confused. But there are interesting dynamics, and without that sperm donor, I don't get to be here to take part in the show.
Right.
And
So
so,
thank you,
everybody
Frank.
played. Yeah, everybody
Right,
played
right,
their
right.
role.
Right.
Everybody played their role.
The other interesting thing to me in regards to him, because I've only met the one sister, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
With your niece. I've met her, and
But
to
that's
me-
not the mother of the niece. That's the funny part.
Yeah,
they travel
exactly.
together.
They
but
travel
they're not,
together,
They're
but-
not mother
Oh,
and
that's
daughter.
right. That's
Yeah.
right. That's right. You told me that.
Remember that.
But the funny thing is, in regards when I said this to you, for somebody who's
Yeah.
adopted, you look like
Yeah.
just like her.
Yep.
So it's either
Yeah.
it's
well,
part
for
of the
fuck's sake,
nature.
it became a nurse.
Nature nurture.
Yeah,
No,
it
but it's like a
nurture.
nature
Yeah,
nurture
it is
because
a
the
nurture.
personalities are so similar.
Oh, yeah.
There's so many things that are that I think are like, wow, how are you adopted?
When my grandma Ryer first came to the airport, when my mom was going to meet my grandma Ryer, she dove behind like this pillar because it looked just like Frank's mom walking toward her. I mean, the similarities in their build and the way that they looked. I was born
Busty.
Yeah.
busty.
Yeah.
We have cameras this
I
week,
know.
babe.
Oh, that's
Pointing to
right.
her
Sorry,
breasts.
but and this is reduction.
Yeah, this
you
is a
know?
scaled down version.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My Aunt Ellen, she's real busty. But I fit in. My grandma's left-handed. My grandma Ryer's left-handed.
They all talk to fucking strangers.
but you're
Yeah.
right. Nature versus nurture.
Right.
Right.
And then when I went back and visited Frank, are you kidding me? Like some of the stuff that was happening there was weird.
Right.
Really weird. And you kind of go, I haven't known you for 19 years.
And that's my thing with like I'm not really
You don't know.
look and there's not a relationship that I feel
Right.
like needs to be fulfilled.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to know if she stood in front of a record player listening to the Supremes constantly, because that
Mm-hmm.
will stay with me forever. Like, how did I come out just knowing the Supreme songs? Like,
So aside from that, and we've probably discussed this before, but forgive me, I drink sometimes. Aside from
I
probably
drink
there
all the
with you,
time.
yeah.
aside from that, wanting to know how you know the entire catalog of the Supremes, what is it? What answers? What are you looking for? 'Cause you don't need a relationship. You don't need. You
You
need
have
anything.
a mom,
You, and you
right?
and you
I-
have friends and you have a life.
Yeah.
So what are you? What is it you're looking for? What are you looking to get answered?
Again, just been crying for 2 days. Why stop now? It's just to tell her that it went okay, that she did the right thing.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh,
in
yeah.
case, in
Well
case she has, in case she needs forgiveness or something,
That's
like
classy, Al.
just
I love it.
like you did the right
God,
thing.
I love it.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do if you find out you have a brother that's just fucking like you?
Oh my God.
I hope we would start a musical
It'll be
group.
Yes. And we'll write a play about you. We'll be on Broadway.
Oh my God.
And I can help.
Your mid
They did
40s.
that on Criminal Minds. They did that on Criminal Minds.
He wants to start a boy band at 45.
He's Justin Timberell.
Yeah.
Timberell.
One dimension. My dad calls them one dimension.
Yeah. That fucker better
one
know what I'm
direction.
saying.
That's you.
In a few years, there's gonna be dementia.
Wouldn't that be funny? They'll both put
One
on
dimension.
wigs
And that would be like I already told you the dark side about the fantasy. The bright side of the fantasy was that whoever my father was some traveling band. You know what I mean? Some hippie,
totally.
some hippie with a guitar and a girlish voice.
I love it. I love it.
I know.
The
Who's the
Charmed It with
piano
Supreme
player in
covers,
New
yeah.
York? Who's the piano player in
Turns
New
out it
York?
was Kenny Loggins, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, God.
Hey.
I keep forgetting.
Worse
Charmed her
people.
with an acoustic
Worse
version of a
people.
Supreme song. Love
love
Child.
Baby love, my baby love.
Oh, God.
So,
we get a camera
there's-
shot of that?
There's always a darker light side to this. So
And there has to
it
be.
really
Good for
did.
you.
It needed a laugh because honestly, it's been rough. And it was the movie. Go see this movie. It's beautifully done. She's amazing. But when you do the math of their ages, I think that's the part that really just was like a bullet to the head. And I was like, okay, like even a 17-year-old is still going to be in her 60s at this point. You know what I mean? Like no matter like it's
Right,
getting to
right.
be do or die
Sure.
in the cancer cluster of Western New York.
The
Get Aaron Brockovich on
Yeah.
it, and you'll be
I
fine.
watched that last night.
the PI that you talked to, and now we're going to use acronyms.
I know because it's so much
Totally.
fun to say.
Can we
I
just
hired
call
a
him
PI.
Magnum?
The,
Can we
the-
just call
right.
him Magnum?
The PI that you talked to in regards to this, based on the fact that you gave him more information than that they're used to getting, was there any attempt at a timeline?
Yeah, and I was fully expecting to get there's some paperwork that I'm supposed to sign, which has not shown up in my inbox yet. But there's paperwork that I'm supposed to sign that allows them to go into the records because
Oh, just giving
Unsolicited
your-
information. They can't just go
they're
fishing.
going in as my proxy is what
Right.
the paperwork will say. So that paperwork has not come through. Although they said it was today. But from what they said about their inboxes, like I said, I was in an emotional wreck during that conversation. She said something about like they could have the information in like a day.
Wow.
Okay, so are we being sexist now? Is the PI
A
she?
woman. It was a she.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Oh,
Her
and-
name
and-
is Magnanimous.
With a lovely mustache.
Yeah, but it sounded a
It
little.
happens to the best of us. Bang it
I
off,
may have
bitches.
also been scammed for a great deal of money by someone named
Maybe.
Lauren Rock.
Maybe. Oh my God, what a great PI name!
I know it is.
There's certain names that you have that you just have to go into certain
yeah.
careers.
But
Absolutely.
I went through their pages and they seem to have legitimate stories.
I'm
and
Googling that shit right
the
now.
bloggers. It's let me see. So adopted.com was the place that do not go read those stories.
No.
I'm just gonna tell you now. It's called OmniTrace.
Okay.
I'm still tempted, drop the A, tempted to go in and do the Ancestry.com. I have the free profile, but I'm tempted
Yeah.
to do the whole thing just because I honestly, you go past my great grandmother on my father's side, I got nothing.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
knew that, and I didn't know my mom's grandparents. Like my grandfathers, I didn't know they were gone before I came along, so I don't know any further past that. So I don't really know where in the hell
Yeah,
we got there.
Because my grandparents were born in the 1800s. Like past my grandparents, not even my actual grandparents. There's no story. Like you go instantly back to Ireland to get to my grandmother's story. I think we've talked about this, that my great grandparents were allegedly like run over by a train and tossed the baby aside at the last minute kind of thing, or that might be something from a movie, but they were hit by a train.
Bonnie and Clyde.
Yeah.
I don't recall hearing that, but
So it just
Oh, he's
there's
told a lot of stories over at the other place.
yeah.
he's told a lot of stories over the past year and a half we've been doing this
but
show.
it wasn't just in the basement with a disco ball and Donna Summer.
Yeah.
Not all of them were.
That would be very interesting to find out why you have such a musical vein in you.
Right.
That would be very curious to find out why that is.
Because I mean, and my parents growing up.
Jerry Garcia.
Yeah.
Don't know.
My parents growing up enjoyed music and stuff like that, but not to the retarded sense that I've
Right,
taken
you've
it. I mean, sorry, I
the
get one.
savant.
Now we've reverted back to that.
The
really.
savant, not to the
Birth
savant
parents
status.
were
All right,
that
using
you're in.
savant. I'll
retarded
go with
again.
savant. Can I have savant?
Thank you. Yeah.
You can have
Because
savant.
that's
I like
accurate.
That's a
savant.
better word.
That's a good
That's
word
the
choice.
word
That's
I meant
using
to
your
use.
brain.
That's
Yes.
a
Thank
good
you,
word.
Al.
That's where he is with
I
that.
have been,
We
I have
love
been
you, Al
redirected to
Perkins.
Wow.
That
So-
was kind of our
Very
thoughtful
much.
vulgarity. Out
Well,
of
yeah,
nowhere.
that
That
was
was
more
thoughtful
than
vulgarity.
thoughtful. That was wow. That's crazy. Well,
That's wonderful.
I'm
I'm
proud of you too.
proud of you.
I
Brought
can't
to
even
you by
imagine.
wine.
Yeah.
I can't even imagine. I honestly can't
No,
imagine.
brought to
We
you by
love you.
courage.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
a lot of courage.
And it's I have to tell you, I mean, we're 26 hours into this, 25 hours in, and I have never been this much of an emotional wreck in my life.
And that's saying a lot.
Yeah, because you've maybe seen this roller
We're kind of the
coaster
same
go around.
person, and I know how messed
He's
I
been a
am.
wreck so many other times on so many other fronts.
But and it really like and the two girls that grew up down the street from me that are going to talk to
Is this
their
like
mom
Gina
for gossip.
and-
It's Roseanne and Ellen. They both.
Okay.
I mean, if you.
Oh, I was putting your friend Gina in there.
Oh no,
No,
we just went to high school.
that's
There.
right.
But if you want true heartbreak, I mean, I can the letters from them, the note back from my brother-in-law, just on the topic of like, because I told them like I would call your mom. I know her number, but I can't. Like I can't because she lived down the street from my mother when my mother was home alone as my sister had to go to work. And all the stories with the popsicles with my mom and all the sickness and trying to get my mom to eat and cleaning her up when she was no longer continent and all that stuff. And I've heard all those stories and they're heartbreaking enough. But then to break a confidence that my mom may have, like, I just, it's, again,
Is the woman still?
one more time to get me crying.
Is the lady?
Yeah, but now would be a good time.
Is
for
the
that
lady
to be
still
able to-
alive about the? Don't you know what leftovers are?
That's her. That's
Oh,
the one
that's
I-
her. Got it.
that's-
Got it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The what the fuck Alfie.
What the fuck, Alfie? Ain't you
Yeah.
her leftovers? Yeah.
So that's whose brain we're gonna pick first, and
Okay.
and that's the thing. Like, would my mom may have said something in confidence to her, like they were neighbors and friends for 50 years. Like, again, I just can't imagine it not coming up. And I want to go
Right.
steal magnolias and go to the woman that used to cut my hair that also
Right,
did
right.
my mom's hair, what the shit Alfie's hair, my friend's mom's hair.
'Cause the hairdresser
'cause
knows a lot.
She's a hairdresser that lived at the corner with everybody and was old enough to be like, okay, a baby just came home. We're gonna need the dirt, because that's the person that I want to talk to. Like, there's got to be somebody that didn't just be like, oh yeah, babies appear. Let's go swimming. You know, let's go clean the pool. Like, there's
Let's clean the canal, kids.
Yeah.
exactly.
Give him a pool skimmer. We'll get a
Throw
baby.
some coffee up her
Aloha.
ass. Like, there's got to be someone there that was like, I got to call bullshit on this and get a story. Let's break up in a
Sure.
beer and hear the rest of this.
Sure, there has to be more to this.
Well, that is the biggest section of thoughtful vulgarity without it being official that
Wait,
we've ever had.
But I'm not the first one now. I had a second to think about it.
What
I'm
do you?
usually sitting right there for thoughtful
Oh,
vulgarity.
gotcha.
It's not usually the first one
I'm
has
like,
the answer.
Well,
Whatever.
It is-
I'm being a selfish cunt.
it is what it is.
But hey, Marnie got to play on that moment without having to think about it. So.
Yes.
No kidding.
Wow.
Well, thank you for putting up with that. And
Oh,
I
there's
I
no-
guess
no.
we'll update with
We'll
this.
up-
By the week.
Hopefully,
Yeah, it's
maybe
Next
next week a whole
on
new
the
update.
show with
May I
Clayton
just very
McKee.
quickly?
You better hurry.
Winx 2004.
There's that. It is the show with Clayton McKee. That's me. I'm here alongside this week with Aaron, Marnie, Al Perkins. We are here every Tuesday. We got 2 more shows for this year coming up in the next 2 weeks. Join us if you will, please. Whew! Today was a lot more than I planned on, but we will do what we do each and every end of the show. We will say this. We will see you next Tuesday! Woo!
You've been listening to The Show on Q Talk America.